Yeah, dude, that trailer is so awesome.
Hell yeah. I forgot about that. I dig that. I forgot
Yeah,
That's an
man.
awesome trailer. I love it.
Yeah, so everybody, I want to say welcome back to Comics Underground. I'm Peter Orchard. I'm here with Jake and Joe Sonntag. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
This.
I had a blast last time I was on, so I'm like, yeah, let's do it again. It's always fun to hang out with you guys.
Hell
Shoot
yeah.
the shit. And by the way, for anybody that's tuning in, whether you're live or you're watching this later, that trailer was by my band, Mine Enemies Fall, right here. That was one of the songs
There we go.
Never released. We never released it because we ended up breaking up before we got that album out. We got like 5 songs that were never released. That was one of them. So I can still use some of the music.
That's freaking awesome. I was listening to it going like sweating, like, oh man, I hope I don't get copyright struck. I don't know.
No, man, no, it's my stuff. So even if they do,
damn, dude, that's badass. What caused y'all to break up?
Oh man,
drama. It's bands.
Life stuff. Long story short, we were coming off our best show or our best year ever at 2014. We had great tours that year. Everything was looking up. And then the next year rolled around and it's just like we got hit after hit after hit. Our drummer left us, which left us high and dry. And then my guitarist got in trouble. Back in like 2015 when growing legally was becoming a thing in certain states, but it was still kind of iffy. You know what I'm saying? So my guitarist got into business with my manager at the time doing a legal grow house, and they had all the paperwork and everything was on the up and up. However, my manager forgot to do the research on the county that he was in. I guess he was just within county lines of this one county that was not having it. So they were cracking down and they were shutting down all the legal grow houses at that time. So he got wrapped up in that stuff, got a felony slapped on him. They got reduced and, he had to have probation for 18 months, couldn't go out of the state, couldn't go into bars. And that just killed, that's my guitarist, can't play shows.
I've heard like some band stories. I used to do a lot of work with bands and stuff, and I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, but that was kind of it. We lost our drummer and then a guitarist at the very same time, within months of each other. We had this whole thing happen, and then we had all the shit planned for the summer that year, and we had to cancel everything. And we were just like, let's take a break. We've been doing this for almost 10 years anyway. Let's take a break, spend time with family, friends, all that kind of stuff. We'll wait this 18 months. It's going to be long, but we'll get together afterwards and we'll pick it up and keep going. The problem was that after doing that consistently for so long, once we got that break, it was almost like universally all of us enjoyed the break. Like the
like
stress
COVID
and
did.
all this stuff, wasn't happening anymore. We could actually relax and it just kind of became one of those things. Like we just kind of never got back together. We never officially broke up, but we never got back together. It was almost like this collective thing that was just like, I think we're done, guys. Unfortunately.
I don't know if that hadn't happened, we might not have gotten Reaper Destroyer, man.
That is very true.
Is one of my favorite books coming out of indies right now. I gotta say, this book is freaking awesome, and I can't wait for the second one. I know is coming out soon.
Yes,
but not yet. This Friday, we're launching, what is it, the Second Chance campaign, right?
Yeah, 2 days we're launching the Second Chance campaign. And, it's just going to be very bare bones, 30 days. Basically, for anybody that didn't get the first campaign, a chance for you to catch up before the second campaign. And the reason why I'm doing this is, one, I have a ton of art that I was like, why not? Why not use it? Why not do the Second Chance campaign? Because I'll let people in on a secret. What I was going to do originally was I have my own website and I was going to kind of put up, special variants to that website and just have it like a website exclusive, but I started having issues with PayPal. PayPal has been kind of really screwing me over right now with my website, not releasing me money, all that kind of stuff. It's a whole pain in the ass. So one of the things was like I started talking to Ethan Van Sciver and I was like, I've never done a Second Chance campaign, but I see you guys doing it all the time. And they were like, yeah, do it. You know, like it's easy. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to take everything I was going to have on my website, and I'm just going to put it up for the second chance campaign. And if anybody didn't get the book, because, you know, once I started going on the Kings, there was a lot of people reaching out to me that hadn't even heard of me, hadn't heard of the book, you know, or anything. So I'm like, all right,
whole
I got to try to,
coming in
I got to try to get them in so they don't have to wait. So, I mean, yeah, they could back issue 2 with a catch-up tier, but then they still have to wait for issue 2 to be done before they can even, you know, read issue 1. So I'm like, let's do the second chance. We'll do it 30 days. We'll get in, we'll get out. We'll ship it as soon as it's done. I got a couple really badass new covers. And yeah, that's the whole idea behind that.
What do you think about like third chance campaigns?
I like it.
I guess if you're going to have an issue 2, that would be the catch-up tier, right? So that's ideal. Like I like how John Malin does how he does the graveyard shift, where he'll have the backup tiers, but then he'll combine them into those like graphic novels.
Right.
I love that because I that's what I'm backing, because I didn't get into it when it first. I don't even remember when that first one came out. But
yeah, you know, it's always nice to have that catch-up tier, which I'll still have a catch-up tier on the second chance campaign or the second issue as well. It's just that, you know, I don't want people to wait, because here's the thing: the only way you can get the old books right now, because it was a limited print run, so everything I overprinted for, that's it. And that was the whole selling point with that campaign. Those original covers, they're printed that one run, so they're collectibles, and then it's done. So the only way you can get that book now is if you go to my website, and it's $60. You know, I had to jack up the price because it's a limited print run. I only have like, you know, less than 100 of a couple of them, you know, over 100 with a few others, but not a lot left in out there to be purchased. So instead of, you know, charging people all that much, which I'm fine with, do the second chance campaign. Let's see, you know, get people in on the ground floor, gear them right up for issue 2 that we're launching hopefully late October, sometime November, sometime around there. I'm not going to pin myself down.
Which I don't have. You know? I know you don't have like a campaign for the second chance campaign. How close is it to the first campaign? Because I could pull that up and we can kind of take a look at it.
I mean, it's pretty cool. Well, let me see if I can do something. So I've got the working page.
Is this a first look?
It might be. Now, this isn't the finished page, but I wonder, can I do a sample of this?
Are you going to have this? I'm going to segue into the next thing here.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about why I'm looking for this.
Are you going to have a digital tier on that?
You know,
because we've been having some discussions about digitals.
You know,
you really want to open that can of worms?
Oh, bro, we're opening it and we're going to eat it, the whole can.
You know, I hadn't planned on it at first.
I've heard some really good arguments lately about digital tiers being charged almost as much as the physical tier. Almost.
See, now that's the only thing. Is like, you know, what do I charge for it? And if I can figure out,
I used to be of the mind that I used to think it's digital, so you know it's not a physical tier. You're not crowdfunding to create a digital comic book. And so I was like, okay, so it should be cheaper, right? That makes sense. You're just getting a digital. However, we have had some pretty good arguments lately about why you're paying. A lot of people are paying to create the book.
Yes.
And so there is money that you have to spend, and that digital tier, you're basically getting the book, so you're paying for that. The physical tier, you're just paying that extra that it costs to have it printed.
That's a great discussion. I mean, it's a great topic, really. It is, because going back to when I launched this campaign originally, there was talk even back then about digital tiers. And the question was always, how much do you charge for digital tiers? Because one, you could charge it less because you're not getting a physical copy. I get that argument as well. But then people would be like, well, why do they get it less when I'm paying the full price? You know,
because you're getting a physical tier.
Because you're getting the physical tier, but that's the tier. You know, like that's the original thing. So now people would push back from like backer wise when it came to that. They didn't quite like that. So at that time, I was just like, I'm not going to touch it. That's nothing I want to do right now anyway.
It's not a physical tier.
But I never thought about it until you just brought that up, Peter, for the second chance campaign. The book has already been printed. You know, the book has already been funded. It's already been shipped out. If there was going to be a campaign to have a digital tier on it, it might be this one.
Definitely.
You know,
I definitely have it on the second chance campaign. especially for people overseas that they don't want to pay that.
And that's the bigger
shipping
argument right there, right? Because I mean, you're shipping across seas is $20 to $25, depending. I mean, it could be even more expensive depending on the creator and what they want to charge out there. I know on my first campaign, I was charging $20 for the rest of the world and then $25 for Australia because Australia is just crazy. Now with that, I still ate shipping. When I ship stuff out overseas, I still paid money to help ship it out there. So as much as people would complain about like, yeah, it's very expensive to ship, it is, that's true. But you have to also understand that from the creator's point of view, we are also putting in extra money to ship it to you because what we charge you for shipping doesn't cover it.
Out of spite, like, oh, you know what? Screw you, Argentina or whatever. I don't know. Some country.
Yeah. So
like, I don't like you, so we're going to charge you like a lot for shipping. That's not what's going on.
Yeah, it's like we have no control over it. You know, it's the USPS, it's the US or UPS, FedEx. They said it all, and the countries said it all for whatever it is. You know, so we have no control over it, but we have to adjust to it so we don't get screwed over. I had quite a bit of foreign orders. Like I was shocked.
Actually, that's what I hear. There's a lot of people ordering over there. What country do you think you're getting the most foreign orders from?
I had a lot of Australian orders.
That makes sense.
Had a lot of Mexico orders, a lot of Canada orders. Those are 3 countries that really stand out in my mind. And then we had just like stuff like we sent a couple to China, to Japan.
Oh wow. See, Comicsgate would do real good in Japan, I imagine. Right?
Yeah, there was one in Switzerland. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting,
and they love frogs over there. We should be like doing gangbusters in Japan,
right? Well, it's funny because I was going to say originally because I was talking to a few people when I was looking at the amount of money that I was possibly paying for shipping for foreign orders. I was like, I had to calculate. I was like, is it even worth it for creators in the U.S. to even do foreign orders? You know, based on like the percentage that you bring in and then how much you have to spend to ship it to foreign, backers.
There's always a way. It's got it. Obviously, you want your comic all over the world.
I'm not going to do this with the Second Chance campaign because I haven't had a chance to actually set it up and tell people about it or whatever. Now, my brother, he works, he designs computer chips that go into your vehicles and helps regulate gas mileage and all that kind of stuff. He's a brilliant dude, but he works with a partner over in Australia, and what they do to offset the shipping for foreign orders from the United States is they will have a requirement that they have to have a US address to take orders. Now, all they have to do is they go to a certain website, and for like $5 or something like that, they can buy a US address. Now, what happens when you ship that to them, that goes to like something like pirate ship, right? It goes to a located area in the United States, and then it ships out from there to their actual address. So it's like a middleman kind of shipping, but it saves them money in the long run. They still have to pay more. Don't get me wrong. They're not paying US rates, but it still saves them money from having to pay like the overall, like charging $25-$30 for shipping. Like they would pay the $10 for shipping, and then when it got to the third party person, they would pay a little extra, and then it would get to them, but it would still overall be cheaper than what we would have to charge.
Do with Roger with Critical Blast, trying to
yes, yeah. But in order to do that,
get it there in one bulk and then have them disperse it,
right?
Yeah,
cheaper.
So, but in order to do that for them, for the backer, because with Critical Blast that works good, because when you're doing shipping order, doing orders like that, you're still being charged the full $20, whatever it is, and then if we are charging an uptick on backers because we're trying to estimate what it's going to be for shipping, because you don't really know. Well, all we can do is estimate, because everything's by weight, right?
At that point,
everything's by weight, and once it goes up to another tier, it jacks up. So you have to say like, all right, based on one book that might weigh this much going to Australia, it's going to be like $20-$25. Now it might be more than that if that person from Australia gets 3 books, or a package like the Destroyer tier, which was a box. Now you're talking about $30-$40 for shipping,
and they don't give you that option over an Indiegogo to multiply that shipping by the amount of package.
No, you set it for what it is, and then I think that's it. Once it's set up, it's done. So you have to make the decision for that tier what you want to charge for per country or whatever. So like you just put in that solid number. So they are stuck with paying that solid number, even if we can find a way to get it slightly cheaper to them through, going through like pirate ship or whatever, But what this would be is like you would create a special tier for foreign orders, and maybe it would be less than everybody gets on the regular campaign. But if you want to like one book or two books or whatever, it's a special tier for the foreign orders that they would have to go through, possibly to enter in their new address. I don't know. I haven't thought the entire thing through that. I'm trying to find ways.
Sense. I've always
trying
like
to find
thought
ways
about
to make
it
it cheaper for foreign orders.
That is a good point. It's like you could have your set price for your foreign orders, but if they order something more or a whole bunch, it doesn't really change anything. There'll still be, if they have multiple books, I guess you'd have to have separate shipping for each. On that tier, that foreign tier, you would not be able to add on an extra book. They'd have to go order it again because that price is gonna get tagged on to the shipping.
Yeah,
so it doesn't really save that much money, or if any at all.
Yeah, I feel really bad for everybody that orders overseas. Like it really does suck. The shipping is just absolutely killer. It takes business from us as well, because there's a whole group of people that are not buying books now because it's just too damn expensive, and I get it. So it's either you go the digital tier, wrapping around to the original subject of what you brought up, or you try to find ways that maybe they have to jump through a couple hoops, but it might be cheaper on their end in the long run if they were to go establish a, like I was saying, go to this website. I would drop the link in the stream, or not StreamYard, the Indiegogo main site, and I'd have like attention foreign orders, follow this link, create a US address, and then back. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just I'm thinking of ideas.
So with the digital tier, go ahead, Jake.
With the foreign shipping, I would assume not do it unless they like directly contact you through like your DMs or something, so you can work up something outside of your campaign for them.
Yeah, that'd be a way to do it too.
Digital tier would be the only way, because you can't make that adjustment in Indiegogo for shipping when it comes to country versus in-state.
Right.
And
because you said it. Because like Jake is saying, when you set up your tier and you scroll down to the bottom, it's like, does this include shipping? Click yes, and then you have these different options. You can set up US $10 or whatever, and then it's like, all right, rest of the world $20, Australia $25, Canada 25. You can set it up that way, but once that's set for that tier, you can't edit it. It's done.
So that affects everybody that backs in your campaign. And a lot of people make the excuse of, well, I'm just having it offset by other customers to help out that customer. And
and I've heard
honestly, it's not on the customers to help out your other customers.
So basically everybody would be paying a little bit extra to offset that price for the overseas
you've heard me bitch about shipping, costs.
Oh yeah, I've heard everybody bitch about the shipping.
Dude, I mean,
which is kind of how the digital thing got started, like the talk about the prominence of I guess needing digital
shipping. When you ship media mail and you're just shipping a book,
right?
God forbid if you put like a little metal print or something in there, it's only going to be about $5.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
$5-6.
Yep.
But when I see shipping for like $10 or $15, $12, I feel like I'm getting ripped off as a backer, because that book, you say it's $10, I know good and well it's about to be $20, $22, $25 when you have it say on your tier $10. That's happened to me on many campaigns.
Oh, well, you back a book that's $10, but then the shipping makes it up to like $20 and $30.
Right.
Here's the thing.
I've seen shipping that's more expensive than the book in America.
Well, that in itself is just crazy. But here's the thing to think about.
Which one?
Pencils down.
Was that actually more if the shipping was more?
Yeah, it was like
in the US,
like $10 for the book and $13 for shipping.
Oh, really? Wow. See, I won't ever charge over $10 for shipping, but this is why I think shipping for $10 is legit and works. It might suck for somebody that just gets one book, because shipping media mail is about like $4 something for one book, which is less than a pound. You send that out.
Plus the Gemini, and you got the
right. Well, altogether, like it's probably like altogether you're probably like 13 ounces or something. It's or 7, something like that. Whatever.
Right.
It's under a pound, so it comes out to like $4.70 something or whatever. So it's less than $5 to ship one book in a Gemini mailer. The problem is that if that same person backs multiple books in that one tier, like that one outing. So let's say you back 4
as an
different
add-on,
books.
or just like separate. They go back and back it
You
again.
can do both. You can do the
You
tiers and you can do an add-on at the end when you're ready to check out.
Right. So let's say you
Mhm.
back one book and then there's add-ons. And you're like, oh, I like that too. I'm going to grab this book. I like this, blah, blah, blah. So now you ended up with like 3 or 4 things on that one order for $10 shipping, plus whatever extras might go in there. Now you're talking about the shipping is going to be closer to $8, $9, depending on what goes into that one package. So that covers that $10, in my opinion, covers somebody that wants to back multiple things. It might be a little bit more expensive for somebody who just backs one book, but I get it from a creator's point of view of trying to cover your ass. Because if you're like, all right, $5 shipping flat, because that's what Indiegogo does. You're not charging per pound like a website goes. Like if somebody buys from my website, I get it and I can, estimate what it's all going to be. And then it calculates every item goes together, this estimated weight, the calculated weight, now the shipping charge gets estimated, and that's what it is, to cover the shipping.
Right.
That doesn't happen with Indiegogo. It's just a flat rate. So if you charge too low shipping, you could get screwed over by paying too much if people are getting multiple things because you're backing 3 or 4 books and you're only charging that flat rate of $10 and somebody buys, an all-in tier or the destroyer box or whatever. And then you're sometimes, I mean, hell, I had orders that I had to ship out multiple boxes because people got so many things, and it was well over $10 for shipping, and it's just, it was what it is, like that's just what you risk. But I think that $10 is legit in my opinion, just for that reason why I explain it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think we're going to work around that with the add-ons instead of the tiers, because the add-ons you get to make independently priced versus what you put on the tiers when you add stuff together for that tier. So you could keep the shipping cost the same, but if people want to add on items, I would just, scrape all the tiers and then just put the items on the add-on page at the end. Like for your destroyer box, make that, I don't know, an extra $40 on top of the $20 that you paid for on the
Are you talking about adding the shipping for the book into the cost of the add-on?
Shipping part of the add-on. That way you don't have to affect everybody else's shipping.
Is that
the add-on wouldn't be like a link to the tier? It'd be something you'd have to plug in as an add-on, right? So you could charge a little extra for the add-on, and that covers the cost of the shipping.
Yeah, because your book would be what, $20 plus $5 shipping. But if we get like a box, which is going to be, I don't know, 80.
So Joe,
whatever.
Joe, this is what you're gonna do. You gotta have these add-ons, and then the physical. You're gonna add this price for those physical shipping on all those add-ons so that your ass is covered, and then you gotta have that digital cost to make up for the cost of the book, so that then you're above water, and it's all just.
No,
I think that's why
it better be around the same price as the actual physical. It better not be any lower than about $4 or $5 less than the physical.
Hey, what's up, zombie boy? Zombie
going on
in here.
I think to me that's why, like, I don't mind paying $10 for shipping with campaigns.
I don't mind $10 either.
And that's probably, I'll continue to do the $10 thing because I mean, I had $10 even on the destroyer box or the all-in tier, and that was well over about, I want to say, a lot of that was going for $15 shipping just in the United States. And so that was one of those things where I didn't really contemplate everything that was going into the destroyer box. I was just like, it's in the States, $10 flat rate, and if it's a flat rate, that's good. And yes, other customers, like you said, it kind of makes up for that when we're pooling all the shipping money together. It makes up for some of that stuff where, like, you're not necessarily going out of pocket, so to speak, to pay. It's just when you estimate the shipping, you're like, damn, this is a little bit more than I thought. But the money's still there because it was taken in with the campaign. So it's just, it's what creators deal with. But you guys want to know what I paid for shipping for the entire campaign? Let me tell you.
Well, how'd you do on your campaign?
I mean, $75,400 some odd dollars.
That's pretty damn good.
Nice.
1,300 backers, I think, or right around that 1,300 mark. So yeah, it was a big campaign, and everything, when shipping went out, the calculating shit, I'll just even number because I'm not going to try to get the exact total here, but I spent like $20,000 in shipping for that campaign.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good chunk of money.
Yeah. No, it was a lot more than I thought. Like I was estimating around 10 or something like that because I'd heard people before saying like, oh, it cost me 10, 11 for shipping, you know, similar to kind of numbers that I had or whatever. And it was just, yeah, I was shocked because again, like Peter, you and I were talking before we went live. I had a lot of foreign orders, a lot more than I thought. Like I thought maybe I had like 20 or something like that. And it was like well over 100 foreign orders, and a lot of those were destroyer tier boxes.
So that's
And
almost
oh man, and you're just charging the
20. That's almost 29% of your campaign that had to go towards shipping.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I made a decent amount of money off the campaign.
Well, of course.
Like I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna try to BS anybody out there. For $75,000, I made a decent amount of money off the campaign for sure. But when you were calculating everything together, the shipping by far was the most expensive thing to send books out. Like the printing wasn't all that bad. Printing was decent. And like some of the extras and stuff, and I screwed myself over because I did metal prints that I still like. I kind of got screwed over by the metal print guy.
Preaching to the choir on that one. Those prints just fuck you.
Yeah, that was thousands of dollars just for that.
Yours came with like a card that was a metal print, right?
Yeah, and then anybody with the top 100 backers got the metal card.
Yeah, I got mine one right over here.
I think I got mine too. Yeah, but I don't know if I put it in my card.
And that's why I was like, going forward in general, especially with the second chance campaign, it's gonna be very bare bones. It's just gonna be some simple tiers with the 4 new covers, and then it's gonna be like maybe a simple, because I don't plan on this being like this big giant campaign, because the majority of people already backed the campaign. I've said it out there. If anybody's watching live, you don't need to back it again. You already backed it once. This isn't one of those things where I'm trying to get more money out of the same backers.
No, but you've got a new cover.
Right. It's new cover for new backers that might not have backed the book before. Now, if old backers want to back it, by all means do it. If you want to collect the new covers, go for it. But this is really to try to bring in the new backers that I've had people say wanting to check out the book. So I'm feeling like this is going to be a small, short campaign, which is kind of what it's designed for. But these covers are going to be reprintable. That's the thing. The original campaign, that was it. That was a limited print run. Solid. Same thing with issue 2, the first campaign that's run with that limited print run of those covers. You know what I'm saying? And then you do that second chance campaign to have the reprintable covers. In my opinion, that's why I'm doing it. So
that makes a lot of sense too. Yeah, this is going to be the first one's like issue 1, right? And this is the special edition. You're going to want to get in on this.
Look at this like the second printing, right? In a comic book company like Marvel, DC, Image, whatever, they do that first printing and that sells very well, and the stores want more, so they put out a second printing with a brand new cover, and it says second. Look at this like a second printing of Reaper Destroyer issue 1.
So what you can do is raise your prices on that very first printing for your second campaign.
If you have some
second printing.
Well, like I was telling Peter before we went live, before you jumped on, Jake, is that I have a website, superiorpresscomics.com, and I have all the overprinted comics that were still there. Yeah. I don't have all the covers because some of the covers are gone, but of the ones that I do have, they're on the site and they're up for like $60. So if you want that original cover of the limited print run for what it is, then they're there for an uptick price to go purchase. But the second chance campaign is to be able to have now reprintable covers that I can go with these and not feel bad that I'm screwing somebody over like the original backers because I'm going and reprinting the cover again and again. That's what the second chance campaign is with the second printing. So I can use these covers to print again, to go to conventions, to put in the stores, whatever I want to do, which is why I'm reusing the Ashcan campaign, or the Ashcan that came out, that cover. I redrew it, tweaked it, re-inked it, recolored it so that I could have that as the main cover going forward, essentially the second printing. And so like that's just, I don't know, that's just my own philosophy. I don't know if everybody else thinks that way.
That was Superior Press Printing.
SuperiorPressComics.com. I already put the link in the chat.
Yeah, SuperiorPressComics.com.
I'm not even a fan. And speaking of my chat over here, Zombie's talking that shipping weight can sneak up on you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was I don't remember what book it was, but there was one that I was a little shocked at the shipping was not what I was expecting. I still backed the book, but it was like $18, and I don't remember it being a very
That gets a little much for me.
package. And then there's one where I got charged. They didn't. I don't remember what book it was, but they said I remember hearing on a live stream. Well, I didn't get charged shipping, and I was like, "Wow, that's weird. How are they not charging shipping?" And then I heard later that the shipping was going to be charged later.
Right? Yeah,
I don't know.
That happens with some Kickstarters. Now I don't know if it happens with Indiegogo, but I know some Kickstarters I've backed. They'll do that where at the end you have to pay because it goes like backer kit or something, and now it factors in the shipping, and you have to pay that extra.
Oh, how does that work? Do I have to? They have to contact me to then
they send
pay
you an
extra?
email. They send you an email. You have to follow a link. You have to say like, yes, this is my correct information.
What if I don't remember what book that was, and I don't check that email very often? Then I just bought a book, and I'm not going to get it because I didn't get the email to pay extra.
I honestly think that happens because I know I backed like the David Finch Marvel book that was on Kickstarter, I think last year or 2 years ago, however long that was. I backed and I never got. I still haven't got it to this day.
Oh, I think Zombie's right. Yeah, I think it is Super Killer. He's charging shipping afterwards, and since I just got the digital, Indiegogo? But that was through Fund My Comic, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know too much about Fund My. I haven't done Fund My Comic yet, so I don't know how that works. I primarily know how Indiegogo works, and that's set in at the beginning, and you can't charge extra money afterwards. You can either select no shipping or shipping and put a price on the shipping. So, like a lot of times what I would do is Rick Saylor. If you guys know who Rick Saylor is, he's my boy. He's in a lot of the chats, a lot of big backer. But he suggested to me, he's like, when you add stuff onto the campaign, have a tier where it's free shipping so that you can send that link to people that have already backed and they don't have to pay multiple shipping. And I was like, that's a great idea. We'll just add it to your order, which is what we did. And so I would create a secret tier of that comic, and I'd just select no shipping with this item. And so then they would go that tier, they'd buy it, it would go onto their order, but it wouldn't count for extra shipping. You would still fall under that $10 shipping price.
So digital comics.
Yes.
Bring it back to this digital comics. And this actually ties into the physical comic tier 1, like the first chance, right?
Yes.
One of the problems with digital comics is obviously they don't retain any value, which a physical comic, which might be an argument for why physical comics, whatever you're paying for them, should be significantly more than what you're paying for a digital comic.
Yeah.
But then I like your idea where you bring the digital into the second chance campaign, and that kind of becomes like irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
You're paying just a little bit less than what it costs to print the book.
Yeah.
You're paying less than what it costs to print the book.
See,
now go ahead, Jake.
When you're an artist, you don't have to worry about paying an artist to do your work for you. I get that. Even though you do for like different cover arts and different stuff like that. You had a couple artists on there with you in your own interiors, right?
Well, inkers, yeah.
Okay. But I'm just saying, like, when you're paying other artists out there, your page numbers are going to cost vastly more than just one printing cost. A printing cost is a fraction of what you put into the book.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're doing like 35, 64 pages or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So your art is greater than your print value. That means the art costs more. And then a digital, if you put it too low, it's not going to move the needle on your campaign enough to actually help you fund.
Right.
That's another reason why charging, more is worth it.
In my opinion, you're kind of devaluing your book when you put your PDF or digital so low, which is why I always say keep your physical and digital within $5 of each other, because it's
you
still
got like a slight discount on the digital, but it's still up there significant as far as the funding of the book goes.
Right. Maybe add it as an extra thing that you get with the physical book as well.
And I get
it before everyone else.
That's a great argument to make because technically crowdfunding is to produce the book. So it doesn't matter if you're getting a physical book or if you're getting a digital tier, that book still has to be paid to make. Everybody that goes in on the book, that's money, and then there's shipping on top of that, or there's printing on top of that, and then there's shipping. A lot of money goes into creating campaigns, and not everybody thinks, because they don't,
Yeah.
you're not creators, you don't see the inside, workings of it all. So somebody could see a digital tier and be like, well, I'm not getting a physical book. Why am I paying so much for it? Because you are still paying for the production of the art of that book, which, depending on who you're hiring, can be expensive. Now, a lot of the guys I had in my book
want those artists too, by the way. Like,
well, you want the
make it
good.
worth it.
Yeah, and even on issue 2, I'm working with Marlo Quiza, a fantastic inker, worked for Extreme Studios DC back in the day. He's pretty much retired right now, but he's enjoying working with me, which is great. So I don't have any competition for him, getting his business stole. So that's good. But I'm paying him good money. Like, probably 3-5 times what inkers get paid, because of his experience, because of his name, because of his talent, and because I respect that he's working on the book. So there is a ton of money that I'm paying him per page that most people probably wouldn't, or that you'd wince at. You'd wince at, it's not even necessarily I can sometimes. Sometimes it's just like, well, wait till I get paid and I can get you the money, because
I gotta bite the bullet for this one.
What do you say to like people who, I don't know, they say I can't afford it or what, and they end up having campaigns that don't fund because the books just, they're not there,
I hate it. You're talking about like quality, just all the way around. There's a plethora of examples. We just you've been on Ethan's channel. I don't know if he talked about. Well, I can think of one and another one and a couple, but like the Elasmat's book is one of the most prominent examples recently with that cover piece. And the interior, actually, to be honest, some of the interiors they look kind of like, they don't look bad. It's the art style works for what he's doing. If it's like a indie niche style, here's the thing. It depends on what you're trying to do, because I know traditional indies are a little bit more amateur looking. Traditional indies, like if you go to a small comic con somewhere and you're like you're going to the traditional indies that just make stuff out of their house, right? It is more amateur looking, and that's kind of like the style. People get off on that and they like it. Get off on that, it might be the wrong word, but they like it. The indie that we're trying to establish, or that we are presenting, is a professional indie book. So if you're not going to produce something that's got a professional level of art, I get it. A lot of us are new to this. We're developing as we go. We're learning to be better storytellers, all that kind of stuff. I get that premise, but the look of the book should very much be as professional as you can make it.
Well, even books like 8 Ball, right? Or the is it Inkle or Incal or whatever, that the artwork looks simplistic, but it's professionally done. And there's a huge difference.
And there's a
between
difference.
That
and
Pumpkin War Patch. You know what I mean?
And I'm not sure.
Huge different, folks.
I'm not sure what either of those books are.
Go ahead and share those covers.
Okay, I'm gonna dig it up, but first I gotta say here, Stanley's in the house. What's going on, man?
What's going on?
I didn't read through the private chat. Didn't realize you were streaming. What? Now you know. So get in here. No excuses. And then we've got Mo Biggs in here. Yes. What's going on, Mo? Says hail zombie. Stanley Bionic Bro, Joe, and he even said me. Thanks, Mo.
Let's do it.
And then okay. You guys did a show on a day that works for me for a change and didn't tell me? I see how it is. Well, I did put it in the look. All right, that's on me.
You got to hit the bell for notification.
I have not been able to stream on my channel lately because I've just been busy. So Jake's been taking the reins on that one and charging forward.
Here's the thing, but circling back to the Pumpkinhead verse whatever, like I don't know either of those books, but you brought up a great point, Peter.
I'm glad you don't.
You can have stylized art that isn't like traditional comic book art, but there is a difference, because you can tell when somebody has stylized art but they still are a good storyteller, they're still a good artist. There's a difference in that, to point when you pick up a book and you just look at something, you're like, this looks like a kid drew this. No offense to anybody out there, but there are a lot of books out there that are like that. If you are the writer of that book, pay the extra money and go find a talented artist, pay them what they are worth to pay, and produce a really good looking book. Because there's a ton of examples of books like that out there as well, and they sell good and people like it because it reminds you of the stuff that you see on the shelf, and that's the entire idea. We're not going to compete with Marvel and DC, but we can have quality books that if somebody is looking in the indie scene, you're coming here for the first time, you're like, oh shit, like that.
I want to
really
brag
good.
about shit, you know, like
Yeah.
your book. I was showing it to everybody. Like, dude, look what we got over here. Like, this book's fucking awesome. You got to start getting into these books, man.
Yeah.
Mo Big says, if you don't like Pumpkin War Patch, you're probably one of those Ironheart haters Stanley's always ranting about.
I told him.
Show the cover so he knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, I need to see this because I
there it is.
Heard of it.
Pumpkin War Patch.
Okay, no, I have seen this. All right, I guess I didn't pay attention because it was such bad art. I didn't pay attention to look at it for more than half a second.
Oh see, man, well, there you go. There's the campaign right there, dead in the water.
Look at that ass.
So this is the kind of stuff.
Nice.
So this is the kind of stuff, and I'm not a basher of other creators of books or art or whatever, but I can just when we're talking about quality,
but I do critique. I have no problems like critiquing.
Anytime you critique, you're bashing. Didn't you know that?
Yeah,
that's the problem. We've got a lot of softies around here. Now, I don't know if like I said, some of the interiors didn't look half bad, right? They didn't look this bad. Okay. So it's not bashing.
This is what I'm talking about with the amateur looking art. Now, when I say that, I open up myself for people to bash my art all you want. I get it. My art's not perfect. I'm sort of learning how to draw. I'm going along, whatever. Like I'll acknowledge that as well. I haven't reached that echelon where I can just be like, nobody can touch me kind of thing. So I have errors in my art too. But taking that all away, there's a difference when you pick up a book with art like this, because this just it screams amateur art, right? Like it doesn't
even like simplistically simple. This is
right
or deceptively simple. This is simplistically simple.
Yeah, there's an absolute difference between simple art that is still really good, very well drawn, and stuff that just looks like the artist hasn't established themselves and know exactly what they're doing yet. And that's just what it is. And that's not an insult. It's just there are different levels of artists out there at where you're at in your process. There are people that are figuring it out, people that have kind of figured some things out. And then you got the top tier guys who've been working in the industry. They know all the ins and outs. They can draw great with their eyes closed. Most of us fall in the medium spot somewhere. Like we figured a lot of things out, but we still struggle with other things, and we're improving. Yeah. This is kind of like, this looks like an artist is still figuring stuff out. Like the face is off, the eyes are off. It's just
Mo's saying that her face makes sense if the story she's supposed to be holding in is a fart. And Stanley says this face it was built for criticism. Mo says I have to give credit. At least it's not one of those bait and switch covers that make you think the interiors will be good. And then they're like this. Actually, yes, that is a good point to make, because I have seen that. I have been shocked by books that I bought that had a great cover, and then I opened it up to page 1 and was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Well, my advice to those people too, if they're indie books and say you got a cover from a really good artist out there that's got a name and they know how to draw, you're like, I'm gonna do this because people are gonna come just buy it for the cover. If your interior artist isn't somewhere in that realm, do not get that artist on your cover. Just don't, because people will not come, especially if they see that cover and they're like, man, that's really badass by like Rob Willis or something, which people can feel the way they want it. The dude's a fantastic artist. And then they're like, oh, that's awesome. Go check out the campaign. What do the interiors look like? And it looks like this. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because that's not even close.
There's another thing I got to say about this. I am the first person to admit when I'm wrong. All right. Yeah. We did a whole thing about Pitter Patter, which was not anywhere near this. All right. Pitter Patter, it was like one of the first books we looked at and were critiquing, and I ended up being kind of intrigued by it. I bought it and was blown away. It's literally one of the best books I've gotten in indie comic books, and I had to spend weeks convincing everybody it was good, and then finally got to talk to the creator, and he's making another one, and I was blown away how awesome that book was. So maybe there's a chance the interiors of this book, but that guy also had to hook me in his description. I was reading the description, and that's what got me interested in his book. Mm-hmm. The cover was actually interesting too, but when I read the description, I was like, that actually sounds like it could be kind of funny. And eventually I did buy the book. Now, I haven't read anything about this book, so it'd have to be a hell of a description to get me past this cover.
And I haven't even seen anything about the interior art on this book at all. I just saw people sharing it around, especially when it was attached to that post about like good art takes a long time, and this was supposed to be the example of how you can get art out fast that is good quality. And I'm just like, this was not the example to
this
use.
isn't even an example for fast art bad quality, because you can put out fast art that's not the best quality, but still have some kind of basic design, some kind of something redeeming about it.
This is something that an amateur would put into AI images to have them reconstructed and make it look better. That's what this is.
This reminds me
like Shadiversity. This is a Shadiversity drawing before he puts it in AI.
This reminds me of like if a friend of mine was to come up to me and say like, "Hey, my son is starting to draw. He's got a lot of natural talent. Tell me what you think." And I take a look at this. And I'm like, "Oh, this is really good. How old is he? Oh, he's 10 years old." Like, yeah, this is really good. Keep on going. Tell him he's on the right path. That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah, but notice how you said on the start to becoming an artist, and he's 10 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Like this reminds me, and I've seen kids with art this kind of level that have the talent. You can see that, like, all right, you've got the basic building blocks of where you're going to go. You got errors in there, but you keep on working on it. You're going to get it there. But you seem like you have a lot of good natural talent to grow. That's for a kid level. Now, like this is praise for a kid, but if this is an adult or if this is somebody that's been drawing for a while, and this is another thing that bugs me. If you're an artist, there's no reason why you shouldn't be better and better. Look at my stuff from 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You can see the progression as I'm learning new things, figuring out, leveling up, right?
My art from like 5 years ago, I hate it. I look at it and I'm like, God, dude. And that was after I spent years, like at least I had spent my whole life drawing, right? And then I spent like at least 1 year of hardcore trying to get better.
Right.
And I was blown away by what I was drawing back then. And now I'm looking at what I'm drawing now. I look at what I used to draw going, I hate that. That looks like shit compared to what I'm doing now, which is also shit. And I'm going to keep trying to get better and better.
I've seen some of the stuff you're doing now. I like it. I think it's good. It's definitely not shit.
I need to put some better. A lot of the stuff I post are lunch doodles. That's what's impressive about it, is that I'm able to do that. And that's an example of a fast drawing.
Yeah.
That took me, most of those took me like 30, 40 minutes. My good artwork that takes me days.
Well, right, because quality art, unless you are a professional, and this is the problem in the argument I do not like when people have this. Unless you are a professional artist that have worked in the business, that means that you know how to do the everyday drawing. You have the time to do everyday drawing. You do monthly books or whatever. That forces you to get good and get good fast, because that is how you keep your job. There's a difference between that and then the indie scene, right? The indie scene is full of amateurs. And yes, I know there's professionals. I know there's professionals in here and they do a great job. And, but a lot of times they have the luxury of having worked in the business for 20, 30 years to now kind of put the brakes on a little bit and say, like, I'm not going to rush through this because I'm not under a monthly deadline. I'm going to really put my all into this. And it might take me longer, but this is going to be the best art I produce for the people that are paying extras for this book. And then you get people like us that are still like you consider in the amateur realm, because we've never worked for the industry, right? Even though we are creators and we're putting out books. But if you want to back Reaper Destroyer and you want it fast, I could get it out really, really fast. Is it going to be the quality that I want it to be or that you want it to be? No. But if you give me just a little bit extra time, knowing that I work a full-time job and that, everybody's got lives, you allow those people to have that time to put into their art, you're going to get a really good product. So I hate that argument.
You can put it out a little faster, though, right? Am I right?
Yeah. Little from faster? Last time? Yeah.
I'm bugging with you.
Yeah.
We got some shit going on in the chat over here. Hold on a second. Bro, as a backer, I was fine with the weight and everything on that book. And what I got was totally worth it. Mo Biggs is saying, not to shit on Pitter Patter, but you can't compare the art to this because at least this dude's actually drew something and didn't just trace photos. Well, first of all, there might be some tracing going on in this, and that's one of the disturbing things. I'm not going to go into it, but there's a reason why I think this might also be traced. but or part of it, at least parts of it.
See, for
It
this,
says,
this to me, this art style, because we compared it already to a 10-year-old starting out to become an artist. This is where Noah Mactus was before he created Mavericks, right? Because
yeah, and he leveled up. I mean,
he leveled up just between his two books.
Yeah, and that's what you, when you see an artist and you see that improvement, then that's somebody that's working on their craft, their drawing.
Right.
You know, I've seen too many artists that just stay this level, and you never see improvement year after year, and you're thinking to yourself, like, why have you not done anything to improve, you know, any kind of technique, any rendering technique? You've added something new, because a lot of artists like me, I see what other artists do, and there's sometimes somebody does something and I'm like, I want to do that. Like, that's cool. I like that technique. I'm going to start incorporating that into my art because I've been inspired. And that's how you build your style. Your style is always kind of morphing and improving as you go, as you're adding new techniques. You're like, oh, I like the way that dude renders, or I like the way that dude draws eyes or faces or muscle structure.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
I can't
lips. I can't do lips the way I want to be able to do lips.
Yeah, there's still a lot of things that I can't do exactly the way I want to do it, but that's goals. You know, I'm constantly
like, I hope I never stop learning how to get better and better and better, because I don't want to be like I don't know. I hate to say this, and I don't hate to say it. I don't like Jim Lee's artwork anymore. His recent stuff is just that X-Men shit. Yeah, that X-Men shit is so much better than like what I'm seeing. Not to say that it's bad at all, but I feel like he maxed out and stopped trying, and then maybe even getting a little lazy. With what I know what I know he's capable of. I've seen, you know, his X-Men and the stuff that got me into comic books, at least partially is what got me into comics. And I see some of his recent sketches or recent Batmans of the past decade, and I'm like, I kind of like his X-Men stuff better.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole.
I don't want to do that. I know, maybe getting older, you're like, well, I'm making $1 million in drawing. I guess I don't have to put as much effort into it. It doesn't matter.
Also, passion. You got to figure out passion. When somebody's been doing it so long, do they still have the same kind of drive? Like Jim Lee had the killer instinct when he was, you know, in his 20s and 30s. Like that was, you know, to dominate the business. Yeah, he had a killer instinct, you know, and you just can't hold on to that for 40 years. You know,
that's
at some point,
there's a point where you get a cash in and kind of
and you're gonna start losing the passion for it. And I get it, but no, I would agree with you on that. Going back to the. Okay, I had a thought.
Well, Mo Biggs is here saying Peter calls them lunch doodles because a few of them eventually will pay for a lunch. Bro, haven't you heard? I'm on Sixer now. All right.
Oh, there you go.
One doodle, one lunch. I'm living it big now, man. I just gotta. Anybody want to buy a doodle? I'm so hungry.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. The quality art and like the length of campaigns. Yeah, there are things that we can do to make campaigns come out faster, and I can't speak for anybody but myself, so I'll only speak for myself. With the first campaign, it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take out or to get out, and the reason why is I probably made every rookie mistake that you could make, and you had to deal with certain things where people leaving the book and you have to replace them and all this kind of stuff. But the one thing I found out, and this didn't really change until I streamed with Eric Canetti on one of Otten Stuffs with Sean. And when I started doing the book, because of the expectation of the book and the popularity and the money that was coming in, the excitement, I really got into my own head far too often. And I'm talking about like I was overcritical of everything that I was doing. And so I was sitting there and I would be agonizing over every single panel, not a page, every panel. That was just like, I got to make this the best. And if it wasn't up to that standards, I would be just stuck on a page for days. You know, sometimes there was weeks where I'd be stuck on a page because I just couldn't get it out because it wasn't where I wanted it to be. And that really, that slowed down the process because I couldn't just trust in what I was doing and put something out and continue to improve as I went. Now I sat down, I talked with Eric Canetti, and he was giving me a lot of, praise of what he'd seen of the arts, and he was also giving me a lot of advice and encouragement. I loved the conversation we had, and we did this live, so this isn't a personal conversation that I'm putting out there that he wouldn't want to say, but he was like, when you were working on these books, he's like, do the 60-40 rule. 60 great, and then 40 to get by. And that's not to say like dog shit to 40, but make sure that 60% of the book is great. You got, you know, the stuff that needs to be great and popping out and catching your eye, make sure that that's done. But if you're doing a page where you're just, talking and you can just get by with that 40%, then do it, because otherwise you were just sitting there overthinking as you go, and that's just going to take way too long. Now, this time on this book, on the second time around, I'm only going to do the penciling on this book. Fingers crossed, because that was the idea on the first book too, and then I ended up having to ink half the book. But I want to do just the penciling on issue 2, which I can do a lot faster, and I'm working with a fantastic inker, so I don't have to do this crazy tight, rendered out lines all the time. I can do a little bit looser style, which should be a little bit quicker, and then I can work with the team I have to bring it all together, and that quality is still there. So I'm finding it quicker to draw and get into. Now, up until the last month or so, I had knocked out 4 pages in 4 weeks. Was the fastest I've ever done something. Quality stuff, I really enjoyed it. I liked it. And then shit happened and it's kind of slowed me down. But I think I can go at a faster pace the second time around, because I'm not in my head. I've got the experience. I got the book out. That was a big monkey on the back that's done. And so now it's just all right, now I can tell the story. And Jake, you know from being a creator, that first issue sucks, because you have to establish a story. You have to establish characters, and you got to do all this kind of stuff, where the second book for me, because I'm continuing the story, is now it's all established, and now I'm just continuing the story. It's a lot easier for me this second time around than it was that first time around.
Well, there's so much fear going into your first
that
book.
too. Yeah, for sure.
And that's what made me almost not want to launch it when I actually had it mostly completed. I was like, oh God, this is just too derivative. People are going to hate it. I'm a hack. I'm a wannabe.
Right,
all
exactly.
These different ideas just, slamming you. And then when you finally put it out, people actually get in there and are like, this is good art. You got a halfway decent pitch. I'm going to take a chance on you.
Right, yeah.
And God forbid, man, it was good. Now, it was opposite for me than you, because I felt like I hit everything perfectly on my first campaign.
Oh, nice.
Going through fulfillment, getting all the items and the tiers and packaging and everything ready. My second issue, that's where everything fucked me.
Interesting.
Because that's where I lost my artist for a little while, because he was going through some family problems. Yep. And you can see in the back of the book, just so I could make people realize and know that I was being honest, that while he was gone, I was trying to find another artist. I had 2 other artists only produce 3 pages when I need to restart the entire book. So I put those two art pieces in the back of the book, being like, this is what would have been if he had not come back. And it is not on par with the artist that I have for Cobalt at all. But when he came back, I mean, fulfillment took almost a year and a half to finally complete. And that tears you up. So much anxiety goes through you when you are not hitting the marks that everybody is waiting for you to hit.
Yeah. Oh, no, I completely agree. And it's funny too, because for me on my first book, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
The whole process of it all, working with other people, and every time I lost people that quit the book or couldn't do it anymore. And then it's a mental hurdle to get over that, and to get back on track. And then it's funny because I finished this book, the drawing on my end in, I want to say the end of when I launched in 2022, it was a year in July. And then I finished my part at the end of 2023. And it took almost a year to get the book colored and printed and prepped for printing, because it was all stuff that I hadn't dealt with before. Now, the issue is, I don't think people understand, when you work with people, other indie creators, whether you're a professional, whatever, you're you're doing things through commissions, right? So I'm working with a colorist that I'm not their only client, know. So while they're waiting for me to get stuff in, they are still taking other work. So maybe a book falls in their lap, or a big project falls in their lap, and they're like, hey man, this came, I'm going to be busy for the next 2 months. And then it's just like, well, shit, now I have to wait for my
first asshole.
Right. But I get that though, right? Because colorists,
paycheck,
they make significant less. And so unless you were paying them all up front, which I wasn't, I was paying as we go kind of thing.
Same.
because that could also screw you over. You don't want to just drop a chunk
Oh,
of
yeah.
money and be like, here's the entire project, and then get fucked over because they're not producing. So, but in that process, if they color like 5 or 6 pages or whatever as you're getting stuff to them, because I didn't wait till the end of I was trying to give them as I went, but you have to fit into their schedule
Yeah.
because they do that for a living. The guys I work with at least do it for a living. So they are taking in as much work as they can because that is their livelihood, So then sometimes you get behind the 8 ball because you have to wait for them to finish this project that just came up and was paid for. And so then you just take a back seat for a second and wait till they're free again. And then boom, they're back on your project. We're rolling again, And so it was an interesting, thing to go through that and just the process of the book being done and just waiting for it to be polished up with everything else that it needs to be. And then going into post-production, getting everything ready for print, all that headache, unless you got a guy doing it, which I didn't, I had to learn how to do it and then do it myself, get it all ready and prepped for print. There's a ton of shit that goes into it that you don't expect. And then all of a sudden you're looking at the calendar and days are going by and months are going by. And you're like, damn, I thought I was going to have this book ready to print or getting ready to ship months ago. And here we aren't even close, and it's just shit gets away from you sometimes.
Yeah.
Hey, we got her and a steadfast in the chat. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us.
What's going on?
Let's see here. We got, God, I got to catch up here a little bit. Oh, it's just everybody saying, hey, Heron. If he traced this, God bless the poor woman who was the model. All right. I think this was a little traced for a few reasons.
That was a Kardashian.
With the stance, not the face, though. I don't think he traced the face. This might have been like a dude that was posing.
A dude posing? Oh shit.
No, I don't know.
She's
got little things like the thigh right here going into the costume ass. Like that's a detail that somebody
like that. You better have a dump truck for an ass.
Well, it's like if you have
saying, Peter. I see what you're saying.
That's not something. If you're drawing this quality, that's not a detail you're going to notice if you're not tracing.
Yeah, because usually you wouldn't really do that dip there. In traditional comic art, you kind of have a little bit more of a smooth, because smooth lines you keep the softness of the character, right? Because if you look at a female, even a really hot one, posing in real life in a bikini or something, there are things that in real life look good. The curves look good. But when you actually try to duplicate that in art, sometimes it just looks off because that's not the way that your eye perceives it with the line work of the shapes and everything. So that's why you get some things that are a little bit more rounded, where the ass cheek is going to meet the leg. And you're going to get a little bit of that under thigh, but not too much, because if you do, then it looks like it's a fatty under thigh. So you gotta be close. You gotta be careful.
Way too tight on her, and it's like yoinking her ass up into her body.
That 2D versus 3D mentality,
right? Yeah, it's things have to be tweaked a little bit. Yeah, that was actually one of the first things I noticed when you brought this up was the ass area, because I was like, man, I feel like the butt cheeks are really small, but then you go into this really big thighs, and it just looks like a camel toe instead of an ass crack.
Well, there's also this shoulder right here. He's doing like the shoulder up thing. There's something about the way that it's drawn. It tells me that he's like loosely drawing from a photograph of like an ex-girlfriend or something, right? He might have it in his wallet, and then the way the face is angled, everything like all that's kind of accurate, but to a degree, like you're loosely tracing off of a photograph. Like little details like that you can get right, but the reason that I know that it's not maybe obviously not completely traced is because you got some arm fat going on. This arm in the back is way too small. There's like things that make me think, okay, it wasn't completely traced. Like maybe there's a pose or a piece of a photo. Like I've seen like pictures where clearly the bottom half of the body was a separate drawing, and the top half of the body was a separate. And that was good artwork. That I'm like, man, dude, that was a bad mistake.
If you look at this, if you look at the art and look at the proportions of this, it's maybe it was traced, or maybe it was just referenced from a picture and you just don't really know how to properly draw it from the reference.
That's probably more likely.
When you're drawing a figure, like this looked like the head and hair was drawn before the body, because it doesn't look like the shoulders match up exactly where they should, or the arm is going to be where it should. You should technically draw this thing like a naked mannequin, no hair, You know, you draw the entire figure out, and then after you got the figure set, go back in and start adding all the detail that's going to cover up other detail. But the stuff that's getting covered up, you at least know are in the proper proportion, so that when it does get covered up, it looks correct. Because if you don't do that, things are going to look off. And this, there's something off with the arm. You know, it just is what it is.
On the front thigh is a lot thick, way too thick.
Yeah, and just, you know, again,
well, either
doing slight critiquing here. I'm not bashing, you know, so nobody out there. I'm not, you know, and just critiquing a little bit of this.
She could have had a stroke in her story, and that's the reason that she's like.
Well, here's a reason why it's okay to be critiquing stuff, right? And we're not bad. Maybe a little bit of bashing, but like ribbing kind of bashing, not like you suck, you're gonna burn in hell kind of bashing.
Yeah, because I would never tell somebody this. Honestly, like I do want to encourage people to get better, so I would never. I've had editors rip me apart, you know. So
yeah, but this actually the hair. You're talking about the hair now. Shit, the light's freaking bright. It's blacked out, but I can tell before it was blacked out. Like, let me zoom in here on this because it's the scratch hair. You know what I mean? When the drawing, the original scratch hair. That's not 3-dimensional. It's the original drawing was just a bunch of hash marks. Before people learn how to draw hair, they do the scratchy, just the lines, just a bunch of lines. You know, that's what hair looks like, right? It's a bunch of thin strands. So the more lines I put, the more realistic it looks, which is the opposite of how you draw hair.
Yeah, and there's so many different techniques and styles you can draw hair in, but this does look like a mop.
Like the mop hair,
a thick mop that's just placed because you don't know how to draw hair yet.
I'm pretty sure I saw this chick on Botched.
Yeah. Hold on, we got
a lot of big fatty cheeks, cheek implants. You
know? Oh man, where am I even at in here in the chat? I know I'm way behind. We got jokes going on. Mo says, if he traced this, God bless the poor woman who was the model.
Yeah.
Okay, I read that. That got a good laugh out of me. Zombie says, I see noticeable improvement in my art as I finish pages. Still amateur, but better than I was than when I started. Actually, gotta say, Zombie Boys, I like his artwork. His book looks really cool. Like, it's funny, sci-fi. It's another one of those books. It was after we looked at Pitter Patter, I was not gonna be like I'm looking at his book, and the more we kind of looked about it, we were looking at it, I was like, this actually looks really cool too. I kind of want to read this book. And then when he came on and talked about it, I was sold, man. As soon as he launches this book, we got to get him on like a good show because his book looks freaking hilarious.
See, when it comes to art styles like that look amateurish, but the colors and the characters have so much personality bleeding through that art.
Yeah.
Versus this.
Like it comes through.
Right. Like
this was not
here on Pitter Patter. I could see on Adult Swim. This maybe MTV of 2000s.
All right. Now he showed me where is it? Hey, is it all right if I show no, you posted it. Hold on. Not the Sedusa, which Sedusa is fucking awesome. But this cover here, man.
Bring it up.
I'm pulling it up right now. This cover right here. Let me zoom out of here. This particular piece right here. Like, okay, we got our title, and that's cool. And we got this like monster thing, but this shit down here is inspired, dude. This person with this shit coming out of him, and it's like coming into the monster. This cover is it's my favorite piece from the whole book. This looks like something from one of those cool 70s, 80s sci-fi novels you see on the shelf. But the whole story is like cool. We did we got to get Zombie back on the show to talk about this book again.
He needs to make himself available to do so.
Yeah, right. He's been hanging out with the likes that Katie did, and now he's too good for us. And he's over there with Mandy. I don't blame you, bro. Like hanging out with us will make you look bad. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, apparently.
But yeah, dude, this book looks cool, man. Now, this piece, like, there's not much else to say about this piece, right?
No,
I would say learn how to draw some hair, learn the human figure, do some work on the mapping of a face. Like there's structure of a face. Yeah,
Faces are hard to do. It's not an easy thing. It's something you got to really practice. Listen,
it's not that they're hard or easy. It's there are things you need to know, and that's with hair. Which I'm still working on, by the way.
Yeah. So
but
same here.
The face, you learn how to structure a face and how to, let's say it's a real person. You know how to look at a person, and then your mind automatically maps out all the little structures that you need to draw that person.
Yeah.
Without necessarily having to look at them and trace them. And then after that, you got eyes, you got nose, all the little details, the lips. Like I'm still trying to get better at. It's like a process. It's not hard. It's just it takes time and effort.
That's a good way to put it. Like I tend to just put the word hard on a lot of things that take a while because it's just to me like like anything that is worth learning to me is hard, but it's worth learning. Like it takes a while. Faces are one of those things, it takes a second to be able, especially with female faces. Female faces are a lot different than drawing men's faces. If you're trying to draw beauty.
Hold on, I got a piece of mine.
The manga and anime trope where you just make everything cat oriented.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, you could do that.
Oh man, I'm gonna show y'all one of my pieces that I fucking hated, but it was a painting. A guy asked me to do a painting of a girl, like one of those old those old like jet bombers with like the girl painted on the side. Like he wanted a girl painted with like an American flag and some bombshells. And I was like, dude, okay, and I'm an okay painter.
That's what it's called, right? It's called a bombshell piece.
Is that what it's called?
I
Bomber girls,
bombshells, yeah.
So I did this piece, and I didn't see it, dude. I honestly didn't see it. I give it to the guy, what the hell, and he's like, "Thanks, man. That looks great." And I was like, "What? Yeah, dude. What's wrong with it? Like, you don't seem very enthusiastic about it." And he's like, "Well, it looks kind of like a dude." I was like, "What? No way!" And then I looked at it again and was like, "Holy shit, that looks like a dude. What the fuck? Like, what's wrong with me? I can't draw women." And then I put like a lot of time into learning how to draw women.
I mean, a chick's face can come out a little dudeish if you don't know how to softly draw the female face and make it soft and make it pretty, make it beautiful.
This was like 15 years ago. I'm happy to pull it up if I can find it. I'm happy to pull it up and show everybody.
Let's do it.
It's not on my Instagram. I must have scrapped it from my Instagram. Let me look on my my Facebook while y'all are talking about this. Hold on.
All right.
Yeah, drawing girls is that's, I don't know. It comes natural to some people. And some people have to work really hard to get good at it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you just learn a few techniques. So here's my thing that I try to improve on a lot of things all the time, but I try when I'm drawing stuff for the book, I'm going to things that I know that I can do very well, because the book is not the time for me to experiment with something unless I know that I can do it. So, I mean, I've done brand new things in a book before that I hadn't drawn before because I was confident that I could do it. But if I want to do like some kind of crazy camera angle or some kind of foreshortening that I have not really experimented with, I'm not going to try to do that in the book because I want to make sure I'm saving my best stuff for the book. And I'm going to work on the other stuff on my own time, and I would encourage more artists to do that. Work within your strengths. It's the same thing when in the music scene, when you're singing, sing to your level, to what you can sing, like to what is your range. Find your range, sing within that range, and make it sound the best you can while you're working at trying to get a higher pitch or lower range, whatever, in your spare time, and then get into it. But don't ever just be like, hey, I want to sing this style of song, so I'm just gonna muscle my way through it, because most likely it's going to sound shit. You're going to be flat. You're going to be, your pitch is going to be off. Something's going to sound bad. You're not going to be attractive to the ears when people are hearing you sing. It's the same thing with art. If you can't accomplish this right here, find a different, easier pose to do. Or sometimes people are better at doing the side profile than the 3/4 profile. If you can't do a 3/4 profile very good, no problem. Keep working on it. Do a side profile.
There are a lot of books out there that you can use, you know what I mean, to practice. I've got like 5 books that I've read, front to back, front to the back, cover to the back.
Times when I've improved
Did I
is
delete this fucking picture because I was so embarrassed?
find a picture of an artist that you really like, and then draw that picture. So if I was improving on faces or I wanted to do something, I was like, man, I can't get these lips right or these eyes right or whatever. I'm going to go and look at, my favorite artists that have inspired me. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to draw this face for practice exactly like I see it. And I'm going to try to draw it as close as I can to it, because muscle memory is I'm teaching myself the placement and the shapes of everything I need to get. Now that's a good reference for me going forward. So that you're not aping anything, you're not tracing anything. You're still allowing your talent to be able to produce what you can produce, but now you're really referencing something that you were struggling with. So like, I'm going to draw this face over and over again. I'm going to draw these eyes over and over again, and these lips or this angle over and over again based on whoever your favorite artist is. But you're going to get better at doing that. You can do references all you want, but if you don't know how to draw the basic things, you can reference a female character, a woman in a bikini in that exact pose, but you are not going to be able to know how to transfer that to an actual comic book drawing, because you're going to try to draw exactly like the human figure, and that's not going to come off looking correctly.
I found a different one that's not as bad, and I'll keep looking, but check this one out. This one's pretty bad. It's oh fuck, dude, it's got like boob in it though. Can I show that?
I think as long as it's art, you can get away with some nudity.
All right, it's
somebody told me that before,
like
because we were looking at an Art Adams book and it had tits in it, and I was like, "Oh man, they're gonna take this down." They're like,
that. So this is a friend of mine it was like a idea for an album cover, right?
Interesting.
That face,
I actually like it. First of all,
I mean, it was a cool idea. I don't like the eyes. I mean, the face. Like the face.
Yeah, there you go. Zoom in for a second.
So that, of course, this is like on an 8.5 by 11. I think. Like, it might even be smaller than that. And looking by my line work here, like I think I can
kind of tell what he's saying, where it kind of looks like if you were thinking of like the traditional like feminine beauty kind of face.
Yeah,
I get that from what he's saying. When I look at this,
I can
tell it's a woman.
Not that. This is a different piece. This isn't
okay.
That. This piece is just another example around the same time where I was like, "Oh man, I need to get better drawing girls." Like this one is.
Let me tell you what
attractive at all. I could draw skulls, cool and fire.
I was just say, let me tell you what I like about it as an overall piece. I like the construction of it. I like the effects. I like how you use the black. The contrast to white and all that kind of stuff. I actually do like the face, is what I was going to say when I was thinking it was the other one. The head's a little small, but I like that it's the really heavy shadow over the eye sockets.
Well, like it's missing a bottom jaw. Yeah.
It is. But for this style, to me, it works. So if you're going to put this image on a band t-shirt or a band album, to me, this is the kind of art that you would actually see on a band's art, because people that go see bands aren't really judging them on the art really too much, right? It's just like, does it look cool? I look at this, I'm like, oh, skulls, like this kind of evil, fiery demon angel chick holding the guitar. That's pretty cool. And that's as far as I go when it comes to the art. So to me, for what you were doing, I think this looks pretty good.
I think maybe it wasn't for a t-shirt. Like this, actually thinking about it, I think you're right. I think it was. That's why it was black and white. It was just supposed to be an idea for a shirt. And as far as the shirt goes, it's like a simple, quick. Like you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, that works. That's cool. You don't need to sit there and like stew over it. Or
I don't think it looks bad at all, to be honest with you.
I thought it looked great. I'm not an artist, so I can't tell all the things that are wrong with it. I see an awesome piece.
The head is definitely small, and I don't like the hair. Like that.
Well, see, I thought that kind of,
if it's fire, it should be brighter.
She's like this demonic angel, so I thought that would work into the actual piece.
Yeah. All in all, when'd you do this?
Let's see here. It's what year is that? 13.
Okay. Yeah. So a while ago. Yeah.
15.
15?
Yeah, maybe 15.
10 years ago? Yeah, no, that's
10 years ago.
Yeah. I dig it.
I mean, that's just
if I look back at the stuff I was doing 10 years ago, I'm just like, ugh. You know, like when I started drawing again after I stopped doing the band thing, the first few things I drew at the time I thought were pretty good. I look back now, I'm like, because like you can see your improvement, you know, and that's why Peter, you said it earlier. You look back at the stuff and you're just like, oh, I hate looking at my old art because you see all the mistakes. That's all you see, you know.
What was somebody in the chat? I mean, in the back room?
I didn't see anybody.
I'm not going to see anybody because I'm a guest. So,
well, yeah, no, because you know how whenever the StreamYards, if you have like enough share screens or something, then it jumps down like it. Like
pushes the guest down.
Yeah, but now it's private chat and it shows studio chat. It only shows 3 people, and none of us commented, so it shows that there are 3 people in here, but no. That's it. Nobody else.
All right, Stanley, if you came in here and I missed you, my bad, dude. I'm over here scrolling, looking, because man, dude, it's a perfect example. Not because we could talk all day and night about everybody's artwork, but you know, I can look at my own artwork and do the same thing. And
exactly,
it's a perfect example of what I didn't know what the hell I was doing when it came to drawing girls' faces, but I honestly don't know why I can't find it. And I'm thinking I might have deleted it because I was embarrassed by it.
That's what I was saying about that cover. I'm not bashing it on the art, but the point I was trying to make is that it looks like somebody that is still figuring things out, which is not. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, screw you, Joe. I can't take it. I'm gonna bash you on Twitter now.
It'll probably happen, you know. But that's my point with that kind of stuff, which is fine. You're at a level, you're working your way up. Hopefully you get there. What I disagreed with that cover was the fact that, you know, it was supposed to be an example of good art doesn't take so long. And I was just like, that's not the example that you want to use, you know, if you're putting it out there. So that's why I think it got the backlash, because it's just like, if you're going to do that, put a better representation of what good art is, because then I have to really seriously wonder what's your opinion as that person that made that statement of, like, I can't trust you of what you think is good art. If that's
I can pull up like Bernie Wrightson or, you know, like a million people, Frank Frazetta, some of my favorite, like some of these guys are my favorite artists. That's what I would use as like the example. Barry Windsor Smith, or let's 8-Ball. You know, let's pull up some like relevant comic books that you'd probably want to compare it to.
Yeah,
and I could pinpoint all the things about 8-Ball and how it's clearly professionally done, even though it's supposed to look kind of simplistic. There are details on some of the faces and everything that are like, the guy knows how to draw. He's drawing it on purpose,
right?
Who was the guy that just self Minecraft, whatever I'm supposed to say on YouTube, that artist that just had an issue with that girl and then ended himself.
The artist
Piscore. Ed Piscore. I hated his X-Men, by the way, be honest, but I like his art style. I like that style. That was a good art style. It doesn't belong in X-Men, but for his own work, that was pretty interesting. Pretty cool looking artwork.
Mm-hmm. I think one of my favorite books that I've seen art in was Mike Grell's Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunter. That kind of like realistic, gritty art style.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, with the rough edges, but still looks like it's painterly. I love that style.
Joe, you have a link here that you've been pulling up.
Yeah,
I want to talk about your book because we've been talking about all this.
Yeah, so
we'll talk about your book.
I know Jake's got questions and stuff.
Jake has questions. He's been saying I got questions for that motherfucker.
Well, yeah,
I'm
working. I'm working on the Second Chance campaign because, like I said, I'm just going to launch that thing. I'm going to communicate through everybody who signed up for the issue 2, so people don't have to do 2 signups out there and it's a headache. So I'm working on the page right now. Hey, what's going on?
Take it to the woodshed, Jake. For streaming over us. No, that's Bancroft. Sorry.
What I'm sharing with you guys right now is the Second Chance campaign work in progress. It's very much a work in progress.
I have to stop my sharing. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, you gotta stop your sharing. So there's still things I gotta add to it, but we were talking about like variant covers and whatnot. So I mean, this is for people that haven't backed yet. If you want to back it again, great. Yeah, I'm all for it. But for people that haven't backed it, these are the covers we're doing now. These are going to be the reprintable covers I'm going forward. But we got this great Isaac Bell cover that he did that just is badass. Wes Hartman, I believe, is the guy that colored this.
Yeah, I like that piece.
Yeah, it did. It's awesome. So he only got 2 of the sirens, but that was fine. There's only a limited amount of room. But because he was like, "What do you want me to draw?" I was like, "Dude, whatever you want to do.
You got to put the sirens on there."
Yeah, and he's like, "I think I want to do these characters." I was like, "Go for it." I was like, "Just whatever you want to do, I'm fine with it." And he produced this art, and I'm just like, "Dude, that's fucking badass." I was like, "This is gonna be my feature cover for the second campaign, variant cover," because it came out so good. And these are all just mock stuff. It's going to look slightly different when it goes to printing. These are just things I put up there to show what it could look like, kind of thing. And then this was the redo of the ash can. If anybody got the ash can out there, because I liked it so much, and people wanted to see it on issue 1. But I kind of put myself in a corner because I was like, if you guys get this ash can, we're not printing this cover again. So what I did is I replaced this building, because I hadn't designed Victor's building yet that's in the comic. It was a different building, so I erased what I had. I drew Victor's building in there, and then I had Marlo ink this, and Dave Kemp, who these are the guys working on the book itself, recolor it and give me a different feel. So if you guys got the ash can, it's very similar to this, but this is a brand new cover, so I could kind of cheat on my word a little bit that I didn't reprint that image ever again. That is solid. So this is
you got a new. Well, okay, yeah. A little different. Yeah, you'll be able to tell as far as like markup goes and everything. That first one would still hold its value in
the ash can.
Well, what you're talking about, you're using the same basic piece, but it's different, right?
Yeah, yeah, different inker, different colorist. I replaced the building, so it's tweaked, But if anybody has the image of the original ash can, it's the same image, just tweaked and different, updated, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That's not you're talking about the ash can that you did before you did the campaign?
Yes.
I remember that. I didn't get it, but I wanted to get that thing.
Well, I mean, everybody liked this so much that when I went to do issue 1, I didn't have this as a cover, and people were like, "Aren't you going to do that image?" And I was like, "No," because I said I wouldn't. So I drew a brand new cover, and I had a few people say like, "Man, I really wish you would do it," but I couldn't because I gave my word, and that's just one of those things, So
there we go.
To get around it, I was like, I'll tweak it. We'll fix some parts in it. We'll redraw some spots. We'll get a different crew on it, different inker, different colors, and it'll fix that problem. So I was glad I did, because this came out awesome.
Yeah, that is badass.
I'm excited to have this.
True businessman, you found the loophole.
Gotta get it, man.
I don't agree with that idea, but like, okay. Here's what I would say: that the painted,
it would hold up in court.
The painted version of it, or it looks like a painted version that's like yellow greenish.
Yes, it was just a different technique by different colorists.
Was that a cover or was that a print? What was that for? It looks like a painting.
That was the cover to the original foil ash can that I put out in 2022 or 2021 before we did it's if you want to blow me up, it's this one right here.
Yeah, that's the one. I have it pulled up right here.
Yeah. So
which that looks badass. Same.
Oh, I still love this. This was great. This was the first piece I ever showed of the character. But I replaced this building because at the time I hadn't designed Victor's tower yet in the book, so I just put a placeholder. And then Brian Valenza is the one that colored this, and Jimmy Reyes inked it. And I like it. It came out great.
It's like gold, right? It's like the gold edition.
This is the gold one.
Primo gold edition. And so this one we're looking at now, this looks like your standard, like this is going to be on the shelves in a comic book. It's not it's not that super special one that you backed and you supported and you got it. Now it's like this is your comic book shelf.
Yeah, so that is still a collectible. Like the ash can that you guys got, we only printed like 250 of them in existence. Maybe 300. I can't remember the exact numbers. I should be better at keeping track of these numbers, but very low print run, right? So those are like extremely rare. If you got it, maybe, who knows, maybe it'll be worth money one day. But this is the image. Everyone liked this image and wanted to see it on issue 1, and this was my chance to get it actually on issue 1 with a quote unquote like second printing. And so I took it, we tweaked it, we recolored it, re-inked it, and I love it. I'm very excited that we get to have Reaper Destroyer issue 1 with this image on it, because this is one of my favorite drawings I've ever done. And this.
Yeah,
to have it on the book needs to be, it just needed to be. And then we were doing the Dale Keown sketch cover. So this
sketch cover.
Dale is such, obviously
It's Dale Keown.
This is an understatement, right? But Dale is just such a great artist that when I got this image before I doctored it up for the actual campaign, got it colored and all that kind of stuff, I looked at this, I was like, man, this is so good. I have to do something with this in the future, just a penciled version of this, because it's just beautiful in itself. So when I was thinking about doing this, was originally actually something like I was talking about earlier, guys, before I was going to do the Second Chance campaign. These were just going to be covers that were going to be exclusive to my website. Be like, hey, exclusive covers, come buy them on my website. Here you go, Dale Keown sketch version. And I was like, I'm just going to do this and put it on the Second Chance campaign. So I doctored this up with all the logos and stuff, black and white, and it came out so bad. Like, it looks so badass and just black.
I like the line. Honestly, I like the line works. Some of my favorite covers are just the line work. And I think I like the line work of this better than even with the colors. Just Dale's like raw.
Yeah, because
everything.
Right.
It's so good.
It holds up. So those are the three main covers of the campaign we're doing. And then I am going to do a 24-hour variant of just the virgin variant of Dale's sketch, which I think is going to look just beautiful on a comic as well.
24-hour.
Yep. And I'm advertising it like this so that nobody bitches, because I see people bitch about this all the time. This is going to be a 24-hour cover that is going to possibly pop up throughout the 30 days. So there might be another chance to get it if you can't back it on day one. But that's not a guarantee. But I don't want to do this and be like, hey guys, I'm feeling good, I'm putting this cover up for another 24 hours, 20 days.
I don't understand why people have a problem with
some people.
You're like, oh, it's my 24-hour cover, and then you do 24 hours, and then you do it again later for 24 hours, and they're like, you said said 24 hours. It's like, well, who cares? For one, who cares? Two, it was up for 24 hours. Now it's the 24-hour cover, right? So when I have a cover that pops up for 24 hours,
right?
Like, guess what? This is my.
It makes sense to me, and to me, it's also kind of like an exciting thing to draw some attention to the campaign when you want to be like, hey guys, just the Dale Keown 24-hour cover is back up for another 24 hours. Got to grab it now, but it's still it's the same concept. But yeah, so anyway, I'm being very transparent with that, saying that this might pop up throughout the 30 days more than once, just so people know. But again, bare bones.
Pop up. What is that game? Whack-a-mole. It's your whack-a-mole cover.
Right.
It pops up and you got to whack it. You got to get it.
Yeah. So bare bones campaign, very simple. 3 main covers, 4 counting. Let me do that again. 3 main covers, 4 counting the 24-hour variant, and then they'll all be collected in one tier. So like, it's gonna be very simple to back. We're gonna be in, we're gonna be out for 30 days, and then we're going to print, and then we're gonna put our focus on issue 2. So a lot of this stuff I have to still kind of tweak and everything, but I'm putting up, I think, about 10 pages of full script for this, for people that are new to the campaign to actually kind of get into it and read like the first 10 pages of the book.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
There's a lot that going on in that first 10 pages too.
Yeah, so it's just something, because it's already printed. So I'm like, I couldn't do this before because I launched the campaign with only four pages colored. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put up a good amount of pages for first comers coming in here, so you can get a feel, read the first 10 pages of the book, get a feel for what we're doing. I end it right after the nightmare scene because I feel like that's a good kind of cliffhanger.
It is.
Oh yeah, that's a good. That's a good spot.
So I'll still be tweaking this page before I launch it on Friday. There's a few things I want to do, but I just giving a quick preview since we were talking about it there.
Hell yeah, man! Launch it Friday. Gotta get the hype. We'll launch it on your channel.
Yeah, the plan is right now to launch it on my channel. Starting probably about like 7 p.m. ish. Depends on when I get home, take a shower, do all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And then stream it. And if Ethan wants to jump on a stream later and do it, I'm down for that. If not, like, the plan is to at least launch it on my channel and just go from there. If I get invited on by anybody else, I'll jump on and do that as well. But on my channel, on the Ronan Joe channel, at 7 p.m. on Friday, look for it. I'll post the event and everything when we get closer, but it's going to start there at least.
And so when are you launching the second chance? I mean, not second chance. This is the second chance. It's Friday. Sure. When are you launching issue number 2?
So that's going to be sometime, I think, in late October or early November as of right now. Like, I would like to get through this campaign for the 30 days and then within a short period of time, launch issue 2 while this is being shipped out. Because, again, this book is already printed. There's no wait. As soon as this campaign's done, send the files back to the printer, and then it's just however long it takes for them to get the books to me and then print and then sent right out. And that shouldn't take that long at all. So this should be a really quick turnaround. Get the books in people's hands. Hopefully that times up good with the launch of issue 2 for any new reader that's just jumping on board with this campaign. So that's kind of the idea behind it, is to draw up some more excitement for new readers going into issue 2.
Nice. I'm excited. I can't wait. And I see that Dale Keown Virgin variant there. That's a good excuse to go back this book again if you already have it.
That was
cover, man.
I had somebody, I don't know who it is, like trolls on Twitter or whatever, dig into me about doing the CG grift with doing the second chance campaign and making people buy. I'm like, that's not what I'm doing. But if I was just a tiny little bit, it's with the Dale Keown cover.
Well, see, that's the thing. You're not making anybody buy
There's nothing wrong with
You're
that.
giving people a chance who didn't
Right.
get a chance the first time around.
Exactly.
And I mean, you can do it on a catch-up tier on your second issue, but maybe people don't want to wait. Maybe there's something special about this that won't be on that second issue campaign, which at the same time, aren't they fucking doing that in the mainstream anyway with all those
That's
like
exactly
12
what they
different
do.
covers to collect? I mean,
what I'm
we're
doing,
just following what we were taught.
that's 100% exactly what it is. To me, it's, and I explained this before, if people are new and they're just jumping in now and they haven't watched the show from the beginning. To me, this is like a second printing. The first campaign was like the first printing, exclusive covers. This is like a second printing, going back to print again, like any company does when the book sells well and you have demand for it. So whatever this campaign does, whether it's decent, whether it's small or whatever, this is not designed to be like a look at me, let's get, like these big numbers. It's legitimately anybody that hasn't backed this campaign and you think you want it, getting ready for issue 2, this is for you. So you don't have to get the catch up tier in issue 2 and then wait however long it takes to get issue 2 and issue 1. You can read this now. It also means you don't have to go to my website and spend $60 for the book that was already printed that everybody else got for $25.
Which is still worth it, by the way, because that book's only going to go up in value.
Yeah, limited print runs, right? Like everything we do here in the indies is limited print runs, so these are a little bit more collectibles. Some people might scoff at that, but that's legitimately what it is. Like who knows? These books might pick up and be something someday. We don't know.
You got a Dale Keown cover, all right? Your book's already in like legendary history of comic book.
And can I say that I was the first outside of like the big name people to get a Dale Keown cover? Like, you had Ethan,
dude, that's
Mandy, Shane. I got this before John Malin. I got my Dale Keown cover before John Malin.
That's some salt in the wound right there.
Yeah.
I got a comic book based off of that story.
That was a running joke there for a little while. It was funny watching those two go back and forth, but I like to throw that out there. Like I was the only one besides like those big names when he first came in to get a Dale Keown cover, and I'm going to be proud of that until the day I die.
100 years from now, they're going to be talking about legendary Dale Keown.
That's
and then they're going to pull up this cover for a comic book called Reaper Destroyer by Joe M. Sonntag.
Yes.
And they're like, Dale Keown! And you'd be like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, this book is going to go up there, man. I can feel it. And that's why I've got to get issue 2 out there.
Yeah, I'm excited about issue 2, man. I just got a Marlo texted me today. He just finished a page. He texted me to finish because he's inking all over my original art, which is what I like when I work with a really talented inker. I want them to go right to the board and ink over my original pencils. So he texted me a picture of page 4 that he just got done inking, and it looks so good, man. Like I'm so excited about issue 2 and where we're going to go, because we're going a little bit more into a fantasy, where issue 1 was a little bit more traditional. We're in New York City. We're dealing with some more kind of traditional, comic book feel visually, issue 2 is my chance to kind of go a little bit more into the fantasy realm, because we're going to go into a different dimension that's kind of linked to the end of the
Nice.
book. I'm not going to do spoilers in case people didn't get the book, but the book
We got a
ends in a
taste of it
specific way.
in the
Yeah,
dream,
it's-
right?
Yeah, kind of. So there are so many different realms and dimensions in my mythical world that I've created that we see him in issue 1 in his nightmare. I guess just his nightmare,
realm or whatever.
and then we see him in another realm that I haven't given the name to, where he meets the Sorrows. You know, spoilers for anybody that's watching, but he meets the Sorrows, and then it gets into that cliffhanger part in the book, and then we are going to go into a brand new dimension in issue 2 just to start off right off the bat. And I'm not gonna say how we get there. You guys got to wait till you actually read the book, but it's just going to go from the rooftop that we ended with that cliffhanger, and we're going to go right into this other realm. I've described this book as like Empire Strikes Back meets Alice in Wonderland, as far as what I'm going for.
I like that.
Okay.
I like the sound of that.
You know, so and people, when they read the book, you're going to see what I say. You're going to see what I'm saying
It's
when you actually read
Santa Claus.
issue 2. Yeah,
It's a Santa Claus realm, isn't it?
It could be.
You got to rewrite it now. I figured
Yeah,
it out.
damn it. The idea's out there. Now I got to completely go and rewrite it. But no, this gives me a chance to kind of get into a little bit more fantasy feel visually with this issue 2. So I'm very, very excited, and it's looking great, and Marla's doing a fantastic job. And so I'm just jacked up about issue 2. But issue 1, Jake, I know you read it. You had more questions.
Yeah,
I'm
Jake,
down to
you
answer.
got questions.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. So you're already working on issue 2, so I don't expect everything that I asked to be in there, but you know, I just have questions about it. So Matt bonds with Apophis, right? That's the name of the character that he bonds with.
Yeah.
Within the Reaper Destroyer suit and everything. And it's an Egyptian spirit, right? So you're saying you're about to go in fantasy and everything with it, going on a different, going into a different realm. Are we going to be seeing like Egyptian calligraphies and demons and stuff like that? Or are we going like out into left field where you're only like sprinkling in just maybe a taste of that?
We're going to go into left field. Now, let me explain the Apophis thing. One, within my world, since I created a whole mythology world within my head that we're just scratching the surface. So the characters in my world, when you're talking about the entities, the spiritual entities or demons or whatever, these in my world are characters that inspired the mythical gods of reality. So because we have the name Apophis, it's not the Apophis of the Egyptian deity. It's the thing that inspired that for people to create that deity in real life, right? Just like the Reaper Destroyer is in essence the thing that inspired the Grim Reaper. Now we haven't really dove into that, but if anybody bought the ash can, there's a whole section in the back of the ash can where I do kind of like these paragraph breakdowns of story and character, and I kind of go a little bit more in detail on the ash can than I do in the actual book, because I kind of wanted it to be like this special thing. If somebody got the ash can, you get a little bit more insight into the book than anybody else is going to just picking up issue 1. So a lot of the stuff I have character wise are going to be the characters that inspired what we see in reality, the myths, the pantheons, all that kind of stuff. So it's not necessarily that I'm going to be embracing what Apophis actually is with the Egyptian deity stuff. It's going to be more or less what my version of this character deity, entity is. Now with Apophis specifically, he actually had a different name originally, and I've told this story a couple of times, but right before this book, right before I put out the ash can, he had a completely different name. And when I was doing music, I knew this guy in a band down in Indiana that we used to play with all the time. He passed away. He, like a couple months before I was going to put the ash can out, and he had a band called Apophis, and it was my way of kind of honoring, an acquaintance. I wouldn't call him. We weren't tight, but we would hang out, we party when we were down there. It was part of the scene, so I could call him a friend, even though we weren't like friends, but it's my way of honoring my friend who had fallen and taking his band name and putting it on this character. And I thought it just worked. I was like, Apophis, I'm going to call this character Apophis in honor of this guy. And we're going to move forward. So that's actually why he carries that name, not necessarily because I was playing around with the Egyptian deity, but it works within the mythology of my story still. So that's kind of the story behind the character's name.
Bam.
Okay. And then when it comes to Matt bonding with the Reaper Destroyer and Apophis, is there anything, because we're going out into the paranormal and everything in issue 2, is there something of our world that anchors Matt there, or is he just like full blown, just let's tag team it with Apophis and just take down what needs to be done? Is there somebody or something that anchors him to not be taken over completely?
Yeah, so that's part of the mystery of why Apophis hasn't been able to possess Matt fully. In the comic, there's a part where Apophis and Matt are talking, and Apophis is kind of explaining to Matt that, hey, usually when I'm summoned, I possess an Elder Son's body, and the Elder Son are immortal characters within my universe I've created. But in the comic, he's like, but you're not an Elder Son, so everything about this is off. I'm not able to possess you for some reason because you're not an Elder Son. And so there's this mystery of why that is the case. Why can't he possess Matt? Along with why are they trapped inside this armor, which is essentially acts like a prison for both of the characters. They're trapped and they can't get outside the armor. And the whole idea would seem like the body is supposed to be in there, the host is supposed to be in there for this entity to come in and take over and then fulfill whoever summons it duties and everything, or their will. So like there's a whole mystery that we're building up to find out why that is. Why can't Apophis possess Matt? What is it about Matt that keeps that from happening? Is it willpower? Whatever, like the whole trope. We're going to find out as we go, and issue 2 is going to push us a little closer to finding that out.
Yeah.
Although a lot of the stuff I'm building in this story is a slow burn mystery, right? So with Matt, I designed a character to be the audience. So the audience is going to learn about my world, learn about characters through Matt as he learns about the world, because he's a character that starts out without his memory, short-term memory. Basically, he's got about 9 months memory of being this character so far. But before that, he's got bits and pieces that kind of come when he's in a nightmare sequences and so on and so forth as you're going throughout the story. But you as the reader are going to figure out or find out what's going on through the eyes of Matt as he discovers it as well.
Okay.
That's why the whole world is like a lot more established. Because I talked to a lot of people that were willing to jump in my DMs to give me feedback. We'd have conversations about the book and stuff. And there was a theme with a couple people where like, the only thing that I was disappointed on, so to speak, on the book was that Matt seemed very underdeveloped compared to a lot of the other characters.
Right.
And I was like, I get that, completely understand where you're coming from, but just so I did that. Right. I did that on design. I did that on design because you aren't supposed to know a lot about your main character, because the main character essentially is the reader. And you will find out about the main character as we go, because he doesn't know a lot about himself either. But he's going into this already fully established, fleshed out world.
There was something that didn't bother me as much. There's something that crossed my mind was like, I don't know a whole lot about this Matt guy. But to be honest, the book has so much action and everything going on. It's a very steady pace. There's a lot going on. I didn't have much time to think about it. You know what I mean?
Well,
there's a lot going on in that book.
It's a tool for driving the story, right? Like there's a lot of stories out there if people actually sit down and think about stuff that they've read, where the main character is the passenger to the story developing around him. Like a lot of characters get thrown into the shit in the middle of it, and they're just like, what's going on? So I let that slide. That doesn't really bother me.
Stanley's in the chat. He says, absolutely love the mindset behind the main character. Yeah, me too, man. This is a really cool, unique concept. I loved it. Anybody who hasn't read this book, you need to go get it. Friday, they need to go back it, because this book is pretty badass. And we got issue 2 right around the corner.
Well, it's funny because in the book, and I'll get to any other questions you have, Jake, coming up here.
Okay.
But because I I love talking about the book, and it's a lot easier for
Sure.
me to answer questions than it is for me to just sit here and pitch the story.
Yeah.
You know, because I without spoilers, I love talking about it. But you know, it was very much inspired by the Born Identity, because I remember the first time I watched that movie, and it starts out with
Great
him in
film.
the ocean, you know, being rescued, and you have no idea who he is. He doesn't know who he is, and it's just like boom, it starts. People are
Mhm.
after him. Why are they after him? What, you know, what's his purpose? And I adopted that into the storytelling. It's kind of the same thing, you know. Matt doesn't know who he is. We don't really know who Matt is, but everybody else kind of seems to know who he is, you know, but he's not being let in on the secret. And he's
Mhm.
being constantly hunted by other organizations. And then he has his tormenting spirit that seems to get off on Matt's pain and misery that he has to deal with on a nonstop basis, because the thing is just in his head, never going away. You know, so there's a lot of shit going on, a lot of mystery going on that we have to dissect, but it's a chaotic world. And we're seeing the chaos around Matt from the get-go. We start right off from that fight scene when Matt is fighting the shock troopers from Victor.
Right.
And we have no idea why, but that's part of the mystery. You know, that's part of why I'm trying to build the story. Like, who is Victor? Why is he after Matt? You know, what's his purpose in all of this? And then, oh, by the way, when we actually dive into Victor, Victor's not even really paying attention to Matt right now. He's doing something else. So it's like, well, where does this all fall in? I'm trying to build storylines that are eventually going to intersect with each other at the end of the story arc, that's going to bring everything together as a beautiful crescendo. What's the
Crescendo. Yeah.
crescendo? I can't speak.
Crescendo.
Crescendo.
Crescendo. Yeah, whatever.
Like an orgasm.
Orgasm. Yeah. Everybody's going to come at the end of this story. All right. It's going to
right.
be awesome. You know?
I love a good climax.
Yeah.
Dude, Joe, I gotta say, man, talking with creators over the years, it's on Dojo's channel, and everything. We talked to hundreds of them. It's always awesome to have somebody who can talk about their book with passion. You know what I mean? Like, you know, everything that's going on in this book. You tell it very well. It's intriguing. It's like you're making it interesting. It makes me want to read it even more. And that's something any creators out there that want to get on somebody's channel. Well, we're here. You can get on the channels, but you got to be able to talk about your book.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
I'm not as softball as some channels. I'm not a hardball channel at all.
Right.
But I'm going to ask some questions. Like we had Vaughn Coleman, or was that on your channel, Jake? The Vaughn Coleman on, every time he's on, I like to bust his chops a little because it's funny. But
no,
you got to be able to take that too.
Pitching the book, like I said before, sucks because I have a hard time with everything that I know of the story. Like, how do I pitch this story without spoilers, but still give you the sense of what it is? It's not my strong suit. But what I can do is talk about the story, especially after people have read it, and I can answer questions keeping the spoilers out, because I love talking about the story. Like, I'm very happy with the story. I'm very excited where I'm going and what I can do. And I can't wait for people to actually read it, which is why I want to try to get the book out faster and get it into people's hands, because this is a story that I think people are really going to love, especially within this genre. And I think it's going to go places that people don't expect it to go, you know,
It's
especially
what
after
people
issue
in
one.
the scene want to read. That, like, this is the kind of book. This is the book people want to read. This is what we came in indie comics wanting that taste from the 90s, like Spawn, you know, that action, Image Comics. The Marvel and DC kind of comics are not what they used to be. And so we're all coming together going, we want more of that. Like, we want to throw money at that. But this is it right here, man. This book.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah, and I think people are going to love it, to be honest with you. If you like this kind of genre, if you like these characters, the anti-hero, if you like the spiritual nature of stuff. And I've said this before, when I used to pitch the book, I was like, if you like Spawn the Darkness, you're going to love this. But if you pick it up thinking it's going to be the Spawn of the Darkness, you're going to be disappointed, because it's not. Like, I'm trying to do as much as I can to make it a lot different than those characters, even though it has the aesthetic, because
I mean, it's as much Spawn in the Darkness as Darkness is to Spawn. You know, they're not the same.
Yeah. It's still got a unique story, in my opinion. Yeah, there are influences there you can probably pull out and see, but I am trying to do my best to make this a very unique story based on my experiences and my likes of the world and stuff in general. You know, like, we're going to get in, as the story goes, we're going to get into things that kind of touch on religious conspiracies and maybe actual conspiracies and things of that nature, because that's
Mhm.
stuff I like, you know. So those are things I'm going to put into the storytelling as we go forward. So there's so much to get into, man. Like it's going to be a fun ride, and I plan on doing this book as long as I can do it. It's not just going to be like a story arc and we're done. I have so many story arcs planned in my head, loosely based on where I want to go with this character for years to come down the line.
What
What-
other kind of questions have you got for him, Jake?
Yeah, give it to me. Let's go.
When I read, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but I've noticed maybe a rule of 3 going on. So you've
Okay.
got Matt, you've got Apophis, and they create the entity Reaper Destroyer.
Correct.
Then when Matt goes into the dream world or the demonic hell where we see that take place with those 3 demonic spirits presenting themselves to him, I saw that. And then with the succubi that you have, there's 3 of them. So I'm wondering if there's like a secret rule of 3 that people aren't picking up that you have planned going on with your book.
I don't know if, oh shit, Peter's gone.
Fuck?
No, it's just us. All right. I don't know if there's specifically a rule of 3 that I'm trying to follow, but
Sure.
there is a theme. I like 3s for some odd reason. Like I really do. I don't know why. 3 is a good number that I've liked to, like 3 sirens. There's
Sure.
another character that's going to that we're going to see coming up that might have a kind of a rule of 3 within them as well. And I never really thought why. It's nothing I necessarily planned. It might just be kind of more of a natural thing that I do.
Okay. That's fine. I just wondered because it is dealing with demonic, so I'm expecting also angelic maybe down the line, but of course that
Yep, we'll
it's
get
very
into
much within religions to play like the Trinity aspect on things.
and maybe that's it. You know, like I come very much from a religious background. I know a lot of theologies
same.
and stuff like
Right.
that, and so a lot of that stuff is what inspired me writing. So not necessarily like I sat down and like I need to have this, but that might be in my head as I'm just naturally writing stuff. So that could be just a natural thing that kind of came out unbeknownst to me. You know, 'cause
Okay.
I don't really consider myself a writer so much. I'm becoming a writer.
We're all there.
Right, exactly. You know, like I'm still becoming a writer and trying to think like a writer, but more or less I think of it as in telling a story more than anything else. And when I'm thinking of these things, I've got things that are based on things that I'm inspired by. And if that is something that kind of touches within the spiritual realm, yeah, there's tons of stuff because like I said, I'm heavily inspired with the spiritual. Go ahead.
I just saw Mo's comment here. Why did the viewership suddenly jump up? Oh wait, Peter left. Yeah, well now I'm back, and the viewer went down to 4. So
Corey said, "Why not 5 or 10 sirens or 20?"
Yeah, right. You could
'Cause
have
then
5 or
it's a harem.
10. You could have 5 or 10 like variant covers on Kickstarter, like the NSFW kind. You
Yeah,
had 5 or 10 sirens,
full
one
on
for each
titties and
siren.
stuff. The sirens were based off of a few different things. One,
Don't say people you know.
no, they were based off of like the legends of the sirens, you know, like the
Sure.
the sailors and stuff being, you know, drawn into
Greek
sea and
mythology,
yeah,
Norse
you know,
mythology.
seductive.
Yeah, because
kind of
I was thinking of the Fates from Hercules when they
Fates,
came
yeah.
in.
bingo.
But I was wondering, I was like, well, wait a minute, maybe he's got like a bottom dollar bitch thing going on with him.
Hey, it could
Maybe-
be what the Fates were based off of.
You nailed it though. I mean, they were based off of the legends of the sirens and the fates. And I took those two
Awesome.
ideas and I put them together, which is why they talk the way they talk. And I just kind of combined, you know,
kind of
like
completing each other's
they
sentences and
complete
going.
each other's sentences and stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
that was exactly where that idea came from. And I just kind of put them all together. And I just like the name Sirens. I was like, that's a cool name. So I'm gonna name them the Sirens, and they're gonna be like these seductive, evil witches in my world, demonic. You know, they're so evil they don't have faces, kind of thing. You know,
Right.
Well, I put the link to the sign up page for Reaper Destroyer 2 in the chat, and that's what I got pulled up over here.
Yeah, please sign up for it because, like I said, for the Second Chance campaign, I'm going to send out the notifications that's live through this sign up sheet. So this will work for both issue 2 and the Second Chance campaign as well. So sign up for that, definitely.
Hell yeah. And I've got I've got I found a drawing. Oh wait, hold on. That's not the one. That's me holding a Sharpie. Here we go. Masterful painting by me. I don't
Oh,
even.
that's it. That's the
That's
bombshell
it right here. Yeah, and I forgot how fucking horrible it was. This was on a guitar, so it's like,
Oh yeah,
I've never done anything, but you can see what I'm saying here, right?
yeah. I mean, as
I'm-
far as
I'm-
like, a
like I
painting
said-
and a physical object, it's not bad.
Yeah, and I've never done anything like this before
Yeah.
until then. I'm not going to make excuses for myself. I understand, and if I'm going to sit here and talk about another book, you know, if I'm going to talk about
I
stuff,
still dig it.
I will. I
so
will
good.
own up, bro. This is where I was at probably 15
Corey.
years, 16 years ago.
Hey, go
And,
look at my work. From
look at that.
fucking-
Look at that
Yeah.
face, dude. And look, I didn't even erase my fucking pencil lines on that thing.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that chick on Good Mythical Morning.
Whoa, dude.
It's still not.
I'm
It's
looking
not,
at it right now. Look
It's
at the
still not-
jaw.
it's still
look
not
at-
horrible.
Look at
compared
the
to
face.
Compared to when you said that it looked like a man. Like I still think it looks like a woman.
No,
You
what
know.
kind of women are you looking at, dude? Look at the chin.
I didn't say it was a beautiful woman. I just
that
said
looks like that fucking Ghostbuster, the smart one. That looks like Egon, but redhead.
yeah. All in all,
Yeah.
it's not as
Holy
horrible as I
shit.
thought it was going to be when you with how you built it up. you
I
know?
mean,
Yeah.
there's a little technique, I guess, with the painting, like whatever. But
I mean, there's
But
no
that
Adam's
face,
apple,
dude.
so I think we're in the clear.
yeah,
plus,
yeah.
I think
that's a
back
good
then I was
sign.
painting with like one of these motherfuckers, these big ass
Hell yeah.
brushes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how do I get
Wow.
how do they do the fine detailing? And I was like,
That's actually
before I
impressive
put
now.
money.
That's
Well,
actually
but
impressive.
I was like pretty young. I didn't understand that you can spend money on good art supplies. You know, I
yeah,
thought
exactly.
I was one of those little shit, like every single one of them. But with everyone that age, they think, oh, well, I can do the same thing, but with a fucking plastic fork or something. You know what I mean? I'm so good that I can do anything of any quality with like the utmost shit supplies.
No,
I think
that's
is what
totally
my
Judith
mindset
Hubbard.
was.
I think it's pretty
But-
pretty decent, man. For 15 years. old.
Oh, dude. So
I like to uplift people. I'm just saying.
you know, I like to do something to this painting. I don't know, but when I showed it to him, yeah, he's like, I didn't want to be a jackass, but that looks like a dude.
Nah,
But that's a trans dude right there.
No,
Nah,
see
that's
that
the
could
chick
be.
from Titanic.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I mean, minus the American flag. If that'd be if the American flag was on fire.
Right. Yeah.
So
no,
yeah, this is the piece right here that I was talking about earlier.
looks good. man.
Anyway,
Looks good.
well, guys,
Uh,
was there something anybody else?
Oh, I didn't know if
wanna drop?
Jake had another question or not.
No, not anymore. We're at the top of it. I can always ask again when issue
Okay.
2 comes out because
Oh
you
yeah,
leave so many openings for different subplots to take place. There's just a lot that I can just sit here and stew on and just wait to ask again. So
And
there
good
is
thing-
a lot
I'm
of
in for the long
intriguing
haul,
things
dude.
about.
I love
Like,
Reaper Destroyer.
I want to know more
Thank
about
you,
that
man.
blonde chick at the end because well, she's the
Vanessa?
hottest one, and
Yeah,
she's like
she's-
obviously the most powerful one.
She'll be in issue 2. So in issue 2, I'm going to slow down the storytelling a little bit because one is going to be a smaller page count than the 44 pages. But I'm going to slow down the story a little bit because I want to focus on Matt a little bit more in this issue than I did in issue 1. So this would be like if people are more wondering who Matt is and we want to get a little bit more development of him, this would be the issue to do it. Now again, there's a big mystery, so that's going to be a slow burn. But there's going to be this whole realm that he goes into. It will be kind of a discovery thing that he's going to go through, and you guys will see that when you read it. So we get to a little bit more into Matt. But yeah, there's a lot of fun things that's gonna happen in this book, and I think issue 3 is gonna be awesome as well when we get to that. Like I got so many awesome ideas for 3, 4, and 5 to wrap up the story arc.
Nice.
It's gonna be really awesome. If you want, Peter, could you bring up this what I'm sharing here real quick?
Yeah.
So if you guys
And-
heard earlier, I said I have a website. It's called superiorpresscomics.com. You can go here. You can sign up for issue 2 if you want. If you have and you want the old run of the comics, you can get them here. I have all of the only ones I have available are my cover, Dale's cover, and the black and white version of the book. They're upcharged to $60 because they're a limited print run. Whenever they're done, they're done. You can get the old ash cans I have left as well. Original art. So I've got pretty much all the original art from the book up here for sale if people want to purchase that as well. And then I do have some merch. You can get some t-shirts. I'm very excited about these t-shirts. You can this Dale Keown t-shirt. Is this showing on you guys?
Oh, Jake, you beat me.
Page?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was about to put the link in, and then Jake beat me to it.
What kind of co-host would I be if I didn't have some shit ready?
Yeah, that is a good
Hell yeah,
co-host right
dude.
there. So I like to utilize the Dale image a lot. I've got this shirt. Oh, I'm not wearing it tonight, but I've got this shirt on me, or I wear this all the time. Fantastic shirt.
Yeah.
And these shirts, guys, if you guys buy shirts from this store, I don't go with 100% cotton because I just learned those shirts shrink, especially doing the whole band thing for so many years. So this is like 50-50. So these shirts are not going to shrink. They're a little bit more expensive because I can go cheap. I could get 100% cotton shirts and they could be a little cheaper, but they're going to shrink. We all know it. So I want you guys to spend some money and get really good quality shirts, and they're going to stay the size that they should be when you get them. But, so shirts all around. You got some badass fun shirts, coffee mugs, phone cases, cool. Just because I could. The coffee mugs are pretty cool. Like you can get that Dale design. You can get this design that's got the cover on it, just a plain Reaper Dale in white and red. And then if you guys want commissions, original art, all that kind of stuff, so go to superiorpresscomics.com.
Links in the chat right now.
Links in the chat. Check that out.
I'll try to put it in the description too.
And whatever you do, if you buy something for this, do not go through the PayPal option because they won't give me my money. So I'm trying to find a way to disconnect PayPal from my website because.
Oh, wait a minute. You got PayPal on that? That's what I use.
Yeah, there's PayPal options. So when you go to checkout, there's 4 or 5 different options you can do for checking out because the website's just set up that way. PayPal is one of them, but for some reason they're not giving me my money from my exchanges here. They're holding it because of like fraud or something. So I'm in a fight right now with PayPal trying to get my money. So I would just
how long have you been trying to get it?
Oh, for the last 2 weeks, it just popped up. Because originally they took my money and they're like, it's on hold for 120 days. I was like, that's gay, but whatever. And then the 120 days kind of came around and they're like, your money's available. I was like, cool. So I went there to get it. And it's just like, it's on hold for 180 days now. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, why are you guys holding my money? So I've been, going back and forth with people. Apparently I violated somebody, some kind of terms of service. I have no idea how I did that. So it's this whole process. So it's stupid, but I cannot get my money from them.
Insurance claims.
Right. And the sucky thing is I sent out the products. So like I'll send out the products. You guys spent your money. People got their products, but I haven't got paid for it. And so I'm just like, don't use PayPal for right now. I'm trying to find a way to disconnect it from this site because I won't get paid. But yeah, go check it out. Let me know what you guys think. If there's anything you want there.
Looking website, man.
Thank you, man. Shout out to Shani. If you guys know Shani, she's been in our chat. She's all around. We dropped the ducks for her, but she helped me design that, put that together. And yeah, I really like it. If anybody sees anything they like or that's not on there, let me know because I can do different t-shirts design. Honestly, I just grabbed some images I thought was cool to make t-shirts out of. But if anybody sees any art that I have on my campaigns and you're like, hey, that'd be a cool t-shirt, make a t-shirt of it. I'll do it.
Oh, interesting. I've got some ideas. I'm gonna go through the book now. I'm gonna find
it's like you want the sirens on there. I'll get you. I'll make a t-shirt.
Yeah, like an awkward. I'm gonna find like the most awkward part, and I'm like, I want a t-shirt of that. Yeah,
I want
do it.
Suck You by a centipede. Let's go.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, well, I want to thank you, Joe, for jumping on here, man. Friday, I'll be harassing your chat on Friday.
Yes,
I've been doing that a lot on the weekends, and I don't know if some people they don't know who I am yet or whatever.
Oh, nice.
So if anybody knows, if I'm in there pissing you off, just say, "Oh, that's that guy." Just go subscribe to my channel, and then everything will be fine.
That's right. That's all you gotta do.
You'll get it.
Love it.
All right, everybody, go to Joe's channel. Ronan, is it Ronan Joe?
The channel's called Ronan Joe now. Yeah.
Okay, Ronan Joe on Friday launch stream, and we're gonna have a blast over there for the second chance.
Let's go.
And I will catch everybody next time.
Peace.
Oh, I gotta do audio.
This is the art of we will fly, yes, we will die, it's bad.